or your nightmare.
From the edge of broken worlds we rise, called by thunder in the sky. Pulled through time, through dust and flame, every soul remembers why. Steel and shadow mark the ground, every step a chosen fate. On the field where legends meet, we stand before the gate. Hear the echo of the drums below, every heartbeat counts the same. When the signal hits, we let it go. No retreat, no shame. Summon to Valhalla, we fight, we fall, we rise. On the edge of every moment, with fire in our eyes. Summon to Valhalla, no fear, no turning back. One roll decides the future, on the edge of the attack. We rise tonight. Banners are waving, shattered light, alliances of steel and bone. Every move a sacrifice, no one wins this war alone. From the jungle, from the stone, from the frost and burning sand, we were never meant to kneel, we were meant to stand. Every marker on the line, every choice we can't erase. When the dice begin to fall, fate reveals its face. Summon to Valhalla, we follow, we fall, we rise. Across the fields of battle, under broken skies. Summon to Valhalla, no fear, no turning back. One roll decides tomorrow, on the edge of the attack. Raise the power, feel it grow. Ancient forces breaking through. If we fall as one. If we win, we're something new. Legends aren't just born in flame, they're carved in dust and pain. When the silence finally comes, they'll remember our name. Higher, closer, now we ignite. Summon to Valhalla, we fight, we fall, we rise. Let the battlefield remember how we own the night. Summon to Valhalla, no fear, no turning back. From the dust we rise as legends, on the edge of the attack.
Welcome to ToV Live. It is Valhalla time, and it is time where this is part two for looking at Wave 7, Secrets of the Citadel, the Battle Pack, and all the other packs to go with it. Hi, I'm Ryan, aka Tales of Valhalla. Happy Wednesday to everyone, and we have, again, returning with us to discuss things is Sir Daniel, aka Battlebrow. Welcome.
Howdy.
Thank you for joining us again tonight.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, we had a good conversation last time, and just going through it because I'm segmenting the individual units as well and releasing them. It's nice. Causing a lot of good discussions among the comments on like Facebook and YouTube and such. So yeah, good, fun. And guys, we have lots of units and very little time, so we are gonna get right to it. How about
we do
it? Yeah. So,
at least 2 of these are battle box ones, so they have shorter bios.
Yes, we'll try to keep it as I'm going to try to look at the clock. And hello to all of you, or you out there individually listening tonight who might be lurking or might want to leave a comment sometime down the line. Welcome. And as well as shout out to if you're listening to this part 2, which I'm going to put part 2 and part 1 together for those who are listening on Spotify. Let's get started. So we did Sudema last time, so we're going to get right into Corvin, I believe is what it's called. Corvin the Rotbeak. And if my voice is sounding kind of low, it's because I'm in a house where I need to be a little quiet. So hopefully everybody can hear me just fine.
If you need someone to shout, just let me know. I've only got a dog and then neighbors who haven't filed a sound complaint yet, so.
Sweet. Okay, Corvin the Rotbeak. And this is from the battle box. Another beast, guys. Another beast.
Okay,
I'm gonna read the real quick lore part. After they were summoned to answer Revna's call, the Dryan Rakshot used their gift for logistics to steadily improve the organization of Revna's military. In the ragtag army of the Lady of the Dead, such devotion is never overlooked. As a reward for their service, Rakshot was granted a boon. Corvin. Small and unassuming, Corvin offers something often more valuable than muscle: intelligence. It is said that Rakshot can see through the bird's undying eyes, and so Revna's attention is never far away. Yeah, and so this links into basically the ability that Corvin has.
And sets up that this is specifically Rakshot's familiar, which is just kind of fun because, all the other beasts are really just Aquila, Ular, or Utgar. So this gives us a Revna familiar for the creepy deer.
It's a small, simple sculpt, but still kind of a cool sculpt, giving kind of that undead bird vibe thing happening. Here.
Which is worth noting because it is undead as a species. So like all the prior familiars from Arboreus, they've had their species name being, blank. The species name is the character's name, and then the species was the same name as the species listed on the card. But this one is the Rotbeak, but the species undead instead of Rotbeak, which is a bit of a twist.
Rotbeak. Well, it's a title. I know some people, like apparently other YouTubers whose names I won't mention, don't like titles too much.
No, I mean there's especially AOA is very much titlescape. I think we have a nice balance, especially like in this era going forward. But Corvin does follow the like name conventioning of the other familiars, but is undead specifically to work with Sudema, which is worth harkening back to for those of y'all who either weren't here last week or just need a refresher. Sudema has the ability to take turns with other undead heroes that are either within 5 spaces of her or that are in shadow. And you're going to see that kit merges a lot with Corvin, because even though Corvin is Rakshot's familiar, Sudema's kind of become a pseudo-Dryan in this way too.
For sure. I mean, it's a beast, so it can link up with them. Although with its special ability, it's definitely more of a Rakshot type unit for it. at the moment.
Mhm.
But we'll read into that in a second. I just wanted to shout out Justin in the chat. First in the chat. Awesome. Forgot you were even streaming tonight. Sir, on Wednesday or Sunday nights, I am always here. Unless I'm not. But usually I am. So welcome, welcome. Alright, let's read through this card. Okay, Revna, Corvin, the Rotbeak, Undead, Unique Hero, Beast Loyal, Small 3, 3 life, move of 5, range of 1, attack of 3, defense of 4, 30 points. Eyes in the Sky is a special power. For special powers that are not attacks on the army cards of unique, undead, and wizard heroes you control, you may treat figures within clear sight of Corvin as within clear sight of the undead or wizard hero. When doing so, count range from Corvin instead of the undead or wizard hero. Okay. So it's basically an extension to whatever the special power is. And if it works, I'm going to look this up real quick. If it works with Rack Shot, what's the special power that can use with Rack Shot here? I'm just going to look it up real quick.
So Rakshot has the Consume the Dead power. I'd have to go back and read the exact specifics of it. But basically, it's if they see someone die, like once per turn when they see someone die within a certain number of spaces, they get the like Consume marker, and then they can spend the Consume markers for the big special attack. So this basically lets Rakshot get those markers for the special attack without needing to be immediately in the violence themselves.
Okay. So is that something, because obviously Soul Fury wouldn't be able to be applied then with this particular
familiar. It's really mostly just for that scouting, because Consume the Dead, it's whenever something within 3 spaces of Rakshot's destroyed, Rakshot gets the marker. So basically just lets Rakshot build up those markers without having to be in immediate combat, because with only 5 life for defense, Rakshot is a little tankier than your average hero with that 4th defense die, but they're not going to survive a ton of repeated attacks. So being able to see through Corvin's eyes, even if, let's say you have a different Dryan or you have Sudema and you're just using Corvin aggressively, then every time Corvin gets a kill, Rakshot's going to see that kill and get the Consume marker.
And Rakshot is only 80 in Delta points too, so 80 plus 30 points for Corvin. I mean, it's kind of like an interesting little pod unit, really. You put them together, and there you go with another build. So, do you think it elevates Rakshot a little bit? But
a little. I think Rakshot is held back a little bit just by the 1 a turn clause on Consume the Dead and the Soul Fury attack. Like if it whiffs, it feels really bad. But I mean, for 130 points, having Rakshot and Corvin together is not the worst. It's fun mechanically, and I think Corvin as a whole is just going to be so useful for other wizards that aren't just Rakshot. And if you just happen to have Rakshot in the same army, they're getting passive value from the soul markers being generated.
Sure. Yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, we're not going to get into too much because we want to continue because we got more units to do, but it'd be interesting for those of you out there, if there are wizards now that can bond with Corvin, if there's special abilities that can be used for Eyes on the Sky, or if there's possible wizards in the future that can bond. I know we'll see.
Across Classic you have stuff like Akalar, so you can extend Akalar's like elf protection aura from the Alar flag bearer. Sudema is really the big one in this. Like Sudema can bond with Corvin and then use the petrifying glare or whatever from Corvin as well. Like that's the main use for this power. It's the included inbox synergy.
So that helps, yeah.
Dryan wise, I don't think there's actually a ton of other Dryan that directly benefit from it. I'd have to go back and look at the whole roster.
That's okay. Well, like I said, we're not going to do that right now.
Yeah.
We got to move on, but
it is primarily a Sudema power.
I do,
and also stealth flying with 3 attack, 4 defense, and 5 move. Like just ignore the powers other than stealth flying. Like this is just a good beat stick.
It's a good beast, and that's what I was going to say. The stats on the card for Stealthifying at 30 points, 3 life, 3 attack, defensive 4. That's a beast that can like stay in the fight for a few rounds if lucky. Defensive 4 is no joke. It's that nice medium between like 3 being too little and 5. It just, you feel like you're gonna like defensive 5. I'm never comfortable with a defensive 5. It's got to be either 4 or 6 for me. For some reason 5 just doesn't feel right, and it doesn't do right usually.
And Corvin is pretty much always going to have that 5 defense if you're playing them right, because stealth flying is just so easy to get anywhere.
If it's 5 and a 5 additional one, then that's okay. If your basic if your standard defense was 4 and you add an additional one for height, then that's fine. But just a unit that has just a standard 5 defense and typically probably can't get on height easily, you don't want it. It's like I don't know. It's like bad luck or something. I don't know. At least for me. That's just me talking. Probably.
Here's a couple of more fun power uses for Eyes in the Sky that I forgot about. Iwashia can create water off of Corvin. I don't know if you'd really ever want to do it, but you can, is the funny part. But then another fun one is Kilkarax, who has the undead Kyrie, who has like the witchcraft telekinesis like pull ability. You can measure the range from Corvin, so you can teleport things like all the way across the map if Corvin's like in the enemy start zone. It's gonna be hard to set up. I don't think it's gonna be particularly like good, but it is doable, which is funny.
That's cool. Well, so it's not like this beast doesn't have its uses, so that's great.
Yeah. I will fully use Corvin with Halashot for nothing else than having 3 attack, stealth, flying, 4 defense. Like just the value compared to Channa is pretty high, honestly.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's just another beast to the roster that is it's gonna be useful one way or another. It's pretty standard. Even if it's on its own, it's still a nice filler unit. Within the 30 points. We'll see what Delta does with it in the future. Maybe it's not a Delta with Delta points.
I see Corvin going up in Delta. If you compare Corvin to Channa and to Kita, like I think Corvin is just a little better value.
It's gonna be interesting seeing those adjustments. But anyway, that is taking a look at Corvin the Rotbeak. Pay attention. Corvin's gonna be flying in a game board near you very, very soon. All right.
About to be Hitchcock's The Birds in here.
Don't get me started with Hitchcock, because I start talking about Hitchcock films. Okay, Agent S. Do we say SI or S1?
SI4X, I believe.
SI4X, which actually
I call him Psy for short.
Psy, and nickname Psy is really, really good. Agent SI4X, or Psy for short. Oh, the sculpt is just great. I think I know, like I'm pretty sure out of all these that were announced, Izumu is my favorite out of all of them, but this one's my close second, and this one's the best sculpt. It's just
I'm really happy with this sculpt. Like it looks so good. The hex pattern on the cloak is like a fun, obvious nod to the source material of the fact that we're playing on a game with hexagons, but it also like looks believable and cool for the character too.
Yeah, it just makes me feel like spending the 10 or 15 extra bucks just to get the painted version on this. I mean, unpainted would be fun too, but I kind
of want to do both, because I want to obviously have the cannon paint scheme, but I kind of want to see what all can be done with that hex cloak pattern, like what kind of crazy stuff you can do with it.
Can you imagine someone, and I know this is going to happen because there's a lot of good painters out there, to where there's going to be like hexagon patterns, like it's all not going to be one color. You're going to have different, like a kaleidoscope of colors.
I want to see someone. This is what I'm calling here now. I need to see someone recreate Dylan's shirt. If you've ever been to Gen Con, Dylan Fernandez, one of the devs, has his own custom like button-up shirt that he made out of a pattern that has like a photo of like a bunch of his terrain. I want someone to make the exact pattern of his terrain shirt into size cloak, because I think that would be a really funny custom paint job.
And this reminds me of a callback when this was probably sometime like just before Heroscape was originally discontinued or sometime after, where someone at some convention had like a whole hex tile costume.
Oh yeah, I've seen the photo of that.
Yes, yeah, I saw a video of it. So that's one thing that this reminds me of a little bit. I mean, that was very cheesy back then. It was still cool,
Yeah,
but cheesy. But this,
it was cool because of the effort that had
elevates
to
it.
go into it. But
Mhm.
yeah, this is definitely just a cool visual pattern that's also a nod to the hexagonal nature of the terrain system.
For sure. All right, let's read the lore here. So for Agent SI4X, the Solbergs of Alpha Prime are infamous on Valhalla for their ever-increasing size of vast arsenals. Many would expect a killer as prolific as a Psi-4X. I'm just going to say Psi. I like saying Psi. That's great. To possess a massive frame or wield 100 guns. But Solborgs are as creative as they are deadly, and the Agent class fighter may prove to be one of their most dangerous innovations in design. Unassuming by Solborg standards, Psi's record of success precedes him, and his name strikes fear into the cores of his enemies. His face would do the same if any foe lived long enough to see it. Rumor has it that Agent Psi may not even have a soul left. So many times has he been torn apart and reprogrammed as a weapon by both sides of Alpha Prime's civil war. Now that's actually, you're not saying much, but just that little bit of backstory, of when he was an Alpha Prime to where whatever he was at the beginning, he is just so empty and devoid of, it's like a Terminator. It just reminds me a lot of what a Terminator is.
Yeah, he's definitely the killer robot archetype, and I think the bio does a good job of illustrating that. Also interesting that it mentions kind of both sides of Alpha Prime's civil war, because I don't know, historically, I believe Vidar's Solborgs are part of the Zeti Combine with the Utgar Solborgs fighting against the Omnicrons, which are the Jandar ones. So him fighting on both sides is an interesting lore bit there.
Here, I don't know if y'all can see that too much. I'm gonna no, I can't zoom anymore. Then it's just gonna take up more of that screen. Here, since there's so much words here, let me. I remember how to do this. Okay.
Maybe right click, open a new tab.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, there. Now we can see it a little bit better now. Okay.
Justin saying, where are our Meridians? Yeah, I want to see Meridians.
Meridians,
They've existed in what? They're in VC, but we haven't had anything official of them yet. So I'm hoping we see them.
Yet. There's always a yet.
The future is wide open. I hope we get to see some Meridians, however you say them.
Meridians, I think. At least that's how I say it. But Justin's also saying Agent, so Baroness can take turns with him. Yeah. Let's read. Let's read into these. Okay, Vidar, Solborg, unique hero, Agent, tricky, medium 5, life of 3, move of 6, range of 5, attack of 2, defense of 5, 80 points. Obfuscation matrix. Size, space, and all spaces within one of Psi are considered shadow spaces in addition to other terrain types. So this thing just got a shadow cloak about him at all times.
And the 5 defense is kind of a lie because he's always got the shadow bonus. So he's really more of a 6 defense figure.
It doesn't turn off. It is non-negotiable. It's like it's an aura.
If he gets negated, it will be turned off. If he gets hit by Moore's Bane, it'll go down to 5 defense.
It's probably going to be rare, but I'm going to remember that, because I love to take this character and just take him back in time, Terminator style, back to the time that I had.
That would be a
Tales
fun
of
Hell
time frame. No, I'm talking about my main Tales of Hell canon, and just bring him back. I already gonna have a character, at least one character, come from the Age of Annihilation timeline or Seekers of the Citadel timeline back to like an earlier time Like there's gonna be a lot of time travel
Oh, that's fun.
kerfuffling
No, Sai definitely
happening.
seems like a good candidate for that because he is very much the Terminator assassin robot.
It'd be great to like have him sent back and he's just going after Toothpick or a character, just be like, okay, I gotta kill you because you're gonna totally, save everybody and we need to kill you now. It's so fun. The whole Terminator tropes. Anyway, okay, Phantom Protocols. Revna and Vidar figures you control that start their movement on a shadow space can move through all figures and do not take leaving engagement attacks during that movement. Okay,
So basically,
I gotta
he
reread
has
that.
Phantom Walk. He has Phantom Walk, and then all Vidar and Revna figures that start in a shadow space, including ones adjacent to him, get Phantom Walk for that movement.
Every time someone, I remember Joe Crazy was reading this, and he's just looking at the camera like, I have to read that again. Because that is
It's
insane.
definitely it's wordy because it's like the Phantom Walk that we see on ninjas. He's also an assassin, so he gets Phantom Walk, but he kind of has that Revna and Vidar like setting up the Umbral Covenant as a faction. That mechanic, which also notably not size locked. So yes, if you set him up with Maladrix, you can have a Phantom Walking Maladrix. Is that worth using for the 80 points and the order markers it'll take to set it up? Probably not, but it could be. It could be a fun thing to mess with.
It might possibly, because you're looking for ways to elevate her into Gen Con championships, because you know this coming Gen Con, no one's going to run Maladrix. There's going to just be too many. Like there's too many.
I bet we're going to still see Maladrix. She's just so efficient for her points.
She is, but there's other armies going to knock her out. So you got to figure out ways to elevate her game, because what was done last year ain't gonna work. It's gonna work less.
She'll have Deflectatrons as well now, which I think is going to be interesting for her, because Deflectatrons give her that range shield because they also don't specify a size limit. Like she won't get the Shadow defense buff from Sai because huge figures don't get a defense from Shadow. But she would get that Phantom Protocols.
But her minions can.
Yes, the Honor Guards definitely can take advantage of Sai's kind of mini Raylan aura almost.
And then we have Shadow Assassin. While Sai is attacking a hero or squad figure that is on a shadow tile, all skulls in the attack roll count for one additional skull. So if you're in like an endgame and your opponent's trying to protect themselves and makes a fatal mistake of going on a shadow tile, and actually the thing is with Shadow Assassin, if Agent Sai is adjacent to said miniature, they're already on the shadow space.
You're seeing the dream.
Exactly.
So it's a trade-off. Yeah, so he's a ranged hero, but if he attacks someone in melee, they get +1 defense most of the time, but he doubles all skulls, which is a really fun combo. Like, I mean, sure, you can try to set up Shadow with like Storm Shadow or Micah Connor putting a Shadow and having someone step on it, or trying to get someone who's naturally in Shadow, but like in maps that don't have shadow tiles, that power still works because he can just run up in melee. And if the enemy has left like a key figure with an open adjacent space that's within size 6 move value, Sai can just run in with Phantom Protocols, get up next to the guy, and go for the kill. And it's a great pairing with new Taylord as well, who gives that auto skull. I'm curious to see if anyone tries to make Taylord, Sai, Thorman, and whatever else for points as a playable squad.
Wouldn't surprise me using Sai in any way, because it's like can attack everybody pretty efficiently, hard to kill because of 6 defense.
Yeah, I mean he's only 3 life, so if he whiffs, he's gonna die. But 6 defense is good.
Yeah, well, for a Soulborg, hard to kill. Because usually Soulborgs like have 1.
Yeah, he's. I think Admiral EJ1M has the same defense and life spread, if I remember correctly. But Admiral EJ is like what, 100 points more at no, he's I think 170, so he's like 90 points more.
80 points. So good.
No, Sai is very very resilient for 80 points, and I think a good use as a defensive figure. You can set up crazy stuff with Phantom Protocols if you really want to, but the more important thing is Sai is a solid assassin figure for 80 points who doubles as a defense aura. And then there's fun tech like Skahen can move him since he's a tricky Vidar figure. You can take turns with him using Baroness because he's an agent. You can make him a Cobra hero through Bankroll with the Cobra Troopers, and then use him, or Bankroll for the Crimson Twins and have him played with Cobra Troopers to give them +1 attack and defense then. That's obviously more points than just bankrolling a dog like Kita, but
I imagine
I
we're
think
going to
there's a
see
lot
that
of.
army a lot.
I think we will see it.
Yeah.
It requires more of a higher point total than I think we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna see as much, but especially in things that limit figure counts or have higher point totals, I could definitely see Psy being a Cobra, an efficient Cobra piece for sure.
Yeah, and I have to say, like, more than likely, just wrapping this one up, Agent Psy, just it's so perfect, and this is probably my second favorite out of this whole batch. I just
Yeah, he's such a
so
solid,
good.
straightforward design, great mini, straightforward lore, and also it's a fun twist because historically most of Vidar's Soulborgs have been majors, but this is a Soulborg agent, so it's keeping that
Yeah,
same naming convention as well.
very nice. Nice. Well, that's taking a look at Agent Psy. Can't wait to see him on the battlefield. All right, now.
Can't wait to see the paint schemes too for him.
Oh my goodness, yeah, the paint schemes as well. Definitely. All right. So that's the end of the battle box, I believe. Let's get into the packs.
So now it's the Jandar characters.
Yeah, all right.
The Paragons of the New Alliance, excuse me.
Jeanne d'Arc. Historical figure, guys. Historical figure.
I'm glad that we got, we have a samurai, a cowboy, and then we have like literally Joan of Arc as the heroes welcoming back history to Heroscape.
And it's also a callback to the Vikings too, because of Jean's ability. But
yeah, she's got a spirit. She's a champion. All sorts of great stuff we can get into.
Let's get into the lore first. Okay, so look at this. Jeanne d'Arc. Heavenly Father, guide my sword. Jean's prayer echoes faintly in a dim chamber of the Citadel. Let me find victory and bring relief to this suffering land. The rattling of chainmail joins her prayer as newly donned Hauberk,
Yeah.
Hauberk,
It's a chainmail shirt.
Falls down her fire-scarred forearms. May I not be tempted by evil and lead me. Her quiet prayer is broken by the roaring laughter of one of the Nalfer raiders as a chamber over. Of one of the Nalfer raiders, a chamber over. She exhales before counting. I can't read tonight. Okay. She exhales before continuing.
It's a Wednesday.
Yeah. Lead me to offer a compassion to those who transgress against me, as you have forgiven my transgressions. She sits, fingers trailing across her rosary, the beads handcrafted from battlefield scraps gathered during her time serving Nostraland. She breaks from her prayers, and what is Nostraland, guys? Jandar's territory. It's like I usually show them. I won't show the map, but usually I have like a map on my screen, to where I can just like minimize the window usually, and just okay, guys, this is what we're talking about when we're talking about the map. By the way, Renegade, updated map sometime. Maybe like an above ground map and an underground map too would be kind of cool.
Just be nice.
Just saying. Okay. Let's see here. As she breaks from her prayers, as Con can, because who can? Con can, knocks a gauntleted hand against the stone archway. Lady Jeanne, we depart in a quarter candle. Shall I help with your cuirass? What? Cuirass? Is that how you say that?
I actually don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Cuirass.
Cuirass. Okay.
It's like the breastplate and the top of a plate mail armor.
Interesting. Learn something new every day. As she turns to face the grizzled Kiri and nods. I have. Oh, I'm sorry. It's Concan talking. I have trained many knights, Lady Jeanne. Concan muses while fastening the armament plates. Many seeking glory, heroism, even a few pious such as yourself. And yet, while I can drill stances or swordcraft into any who would seek my training, they pick up swords for their own reasons, and it is their hearts that truly guide them. Hearts can be deceiving, my lord. The Kiri smiles. Perhaps. The hearts of several of my other knights certainly were, passionate in their disagreement with our new mission. But you agreed to join without a single complaint, and no matter how many times our allies from Utgard deride you for your sides, you still stand taller than them. You aid their wounded and protect them when outflanked. What leads you to do these things without uttering so much as a heated word? Jean measures her reply. My lord, I seek redemption for all. If we can befriend even our oldest enemies, then perhaps this redemption can bring lasting peace. Concan nods, impressed by the resolve of his people. Then let us be redeemers. Now, I gotta interrupt a second. That's probably one of the best lore reads I've ever read from like this whole Renegade line. I'm talking about everything from start to finish that I've read like in the past like couple years. That was excellent. Just displaying her character, because we all know historically, who Joan of Arc was. A young woman who inspired really the world with her faith and determination, and the grace in her heart, and
ended up being canonized as a Catholic saint and becoming a pivotal emblem of France and the time during their wars. I'm definitely partial to this bio because I did get to read it, so I'm glad that it carried the kind of character that I was trying to convey, because it's kind of awkward to try to write a Catholic saint into a game where you're fighting on a planet called Valhalla against like demons and robots and dragons and monsters and stuff.
Hey.
So I want to find like the right balance of like trying to be faithful to the the actual historical person, while also like, how would I imagine this, historical figure, as far as we understand her mindset and her personage, to be in a completely, off the walls fictional setting. And for any practicing Catholics out there, I'm not Catholic myself. I'm Protestant, so
Ditto.
If there's any inaccuracies in the depiction of like the rosary and stuff, my apologies. I did the best research I could, but I could not find if a whole lot about rosaries from her personal time period.
I think it's excellent. I think this is the first time that prayer is mentioned in a canon, like a main canonized lore.
Actually,
was it? Okay, was it? Okay.
Yeah. So in writing some of this, I was also trying to harken back to Sir Dupuis as well.
Nice.
Because he was the Crusader hero, Knight Templar. Yeah, no, he says like a prayer in Latin in that one.
Oh, okay.
But it's also like very I don't know. It's very like fantasy. Like it says he's like weeping and like bare chested and stuff. And also he has like literally the Holy Grail. It's called the Chalice of Fortitude or whatever. But I wanted to try to honor some of the precedent set of like having religious knights in the game, but also not trying to like lean too hard into. And immediately this is definitive proof that like the God of the Bible is canon to Heroscape. Like there's just a little bit of weirdness when you get to the more like theological and cosmological implications of that. So I just wanted to, stay respectful to the original character and to the faith as a whole, while also like putting it in the context of Heroscape as a whole, and kind of leaving the nitty gritty about how the theological or cosmological scale of things works up to individual interpretation, because that's not what the character's here to do, make a statement on it. The character's just trying to recreate a famous historical figure and Catholic saint, and also just a really cool sword and halberd wielding knight.
I think, and before I read the card, which is a fun card too, at 40 points, I didn't even see the 40 points, but I think when it comes to that bit of lore, it wasn't preachy. It was telling who the character was, what they were feeling, and I think it doesn't matter in what situation you're in, whether it's in a situation to where it goes way beyond anything you ever imagined or thought. Regardless of that, you never want to lose your faith in a higher power, or because if you lose your faith, if you lose your trust in a higher power, then what do you have to hold on to? It doesn't matter what situation you're in.
There's
So
also just
yeah.
a lot to explore in the themes of
Mhm.
like redemption.
Yeah.
Redemption is a very core part of the Christian tradition and stuff.
Mhm.
And we're also, with the concept of the new alliance, like the whole premise is it's good guys fighting alongside bad guys.
Mhm.
Like
Which
it's very
don't like
natural
too
that good
much, but
guys and bad guys shouldn't work together. And this at least helps give some reasoning why like some of the good guys would actively choose to work with the bad guys. In this case, she is fighting alongside because one, it's her duty, and two, she's trying to bring redemption with even her oldest enemies to create
mhm.
a lasting peace. So I think it's very reasonable for a lot of us, to be like the other knights mentioned that Konken was talking about, who are not particularly on board with the new alliance's goal. But I
Mhm.
think Jean here at least offers a argument for why there should be an effort to try to like work alongside and almost rehabilitate, if you will, some of
Mhm.
these war criminals and nasty, horrible guys, which we'll get into soon with the
Yeah.
Gnarlfurs. Which you can also see, like she's not just because she's trying her best and like wanting to seek redemption for like specifically the Gnarlfurs are the ones mentioned.
Mhm.
Uh, they clearly are not nice to her in any way, shape, or
Mhm.
form. Like she is being selfless in her actions, trying to help
Right.
them when they would not think twice about her. And I think
Right.
that's definitely part of the struggle that we're going to see the new alliance as a faction have. Is you've got all these good guys, and then you've got just the worst of the worst in Utgar, and like
Well,
kind of seeing how those two interact together without just immediately strangling each other.
here is a hero's journey happening right there, and it, like I said, I'm not particularly fond of the this alliance, not at
Hmm.
all. But reading through this lore nearly convinces me that it's a good thing. So that shows how well that this is kind of written. You involve these type of characters and continue with these storylines, especially like if you have it doesn't have to be one. It can be many central characters going through their own journeys throughout this storyline, this process. Uh, you'll hit a home run with it. There's as long as the story is told good within the character and from the character's perspective, you can't go wrong. But
Thanks.
anyway,
Yeah,
let's.
I'm definitely hoping people are rooting alongside for Jean
Mhm,
to make an actual difference in
mhm.
what seems like a pretty bad situation in this alliance.
Immediate fan. Okay, Jean d'Arc. Let's take a look at this card real quick. Human, unique hero, champion, and knight. Yes, two classes. There's mixed reactions to these. I'm okay with it, but we talked about
I'm
that
a huge
last
proponent, but
week.
I've
But
also played a lot of Magic the Gathering where you can have things like 5 different keywords, so like
mhm,
maybe my opinion shouldn't be the main one to go to.
yeah, a valiant, medium 5, life of 4, move of 5, range of 1, attack of 3, defense of 2, at 40 points. So for 40 points, this isn't terrible, but it still makes you
Yeah,
go,
it's
hmm,
pretty run of the mill
yeah,
like filler hero stats,
yeah,
if you will. But as we get into the powers, I think obviously we'll see
yeah. We'll see.
the real use.
We'll see why. Shield of Faith, 13. If this figure would be affected by an attack, after attack dice are rolled, you may roll the 20-sided die. If you roll 13 or higher, ignore all wounds figures you control would take from that attack. That's just crazy. If you use
Yeah.
Shield of Faith 13, this figure cannot roll defense dice against this attack.
So basically, she can say instead of rolling 2 defense, she can kind of lean on her faith and just trust. And you roll a 20-sided die, and if you get a 13 or higher, you're completely safe. But if you get a 12 or lower, then you're gonna face the full brunt of the attack.
Yeah,
No
you
defense
can't.
dice allowed.
Yeah. So
She can also use it selflessly to try to protect against explosions or line attacks too, which is kind of neat.
and with a defense of 2, you're probably going to be using this more often than not.
Oh yeah.
Because what are the odds? Is there better odds for a 2 defense, or are there better odds for a Shield of Faith? So there's that, thinking.
I think 2
kind of.
defense. I mean, you are on average rolling what, like just under. On average, you're rolling under 1 shield on 2 defense. Like
There you
it's
go.
not great odds because it's 1 in 3 chance per die to get
Yeah.
a shield. So especially if you see like if you're staring down 3-4 skulls, better start praying and
Mhm.
hope that you get that 13 or higher.
Yep. So, and then Faithful Spirit. When Jeanne d'Arc is destroyed, you may place her figure onto a unique army card. So, unique army card. So that's squatter hero, right?
Squatter hero, just like the Viking
Awesome.
champs before her, because you mentioned that she's got kind of some harkening back to those Viking champs. So this also works on squads.
And because it just says a unique army card, doesn't state faction or anything like that. It can be anything.
Yep, just like the Viking
Wow.
champs.
Very versatile. While she is on that army card gains the Shield of Faith 13 special power. But there's a catch. If a figure from the army card rolls a 1 or a 6, 1 through 6, for Shield of Faith 13, remove Jeanne from that army card. So there is that risk for it. But still,
yeah, I mean, you're already kind of facing the risk of whiffing anyways. Yeah. But if you get a low enough roll, then you don't get to use her on any of the other squad figures, or if it's here, you can't use it again. But I really like her, especially for characters like the Knaves of the Silver Scimitar, or the Exiles of the Sundered Sea. Like any of those unique squads with 2 defense, like that's just so rough to have on a unique squad, because once any of them dies, you automatically lose a lot of value.
Yeah.
And at 13 and up, that's what a... Gosh, I'm trying to do math. I shouldn't be trying to do math.
It's like 40-something%, something like
it's
that.
Yeah, I think it's like a 35 or 40% chance roughly.
Which isn't bad.
Like those are not the worst odds for fully blocking. And so if you're asking me if I would rather take a 35% chance of blocking all attacks, or I roll 2 defense dice and I on average am getting, let's be generous and say I'm getting on average 1 shield on defense. If I'm facing down like 4 skulls, I think I would rather take the Shield of Faith roll and hope to block all of it. Because if I just roll the 2 dice, even like if I get 1, sure, she survives, but she's taking 3 damage. And then if she does die, I should put her on another card. And if she blocks all of it, then she can keep fighting. And I think just, the bigger the attack that's going in, the more appealing the Shield of Faith is as an ability. So she's just a fun piece. And at 40 points, she fits great in with like Knights or MacDurks or Frost Claws and the Gnarlfurs, which we'll get to in a bit. But I like her being a 40-point filler hero that is more in the lines of like Eldgrim, the Viking champ, than anything else. But she offers like a unique defensive power instead of just a flat stat buff.
Oh, it's a great addition. And she's also got reach. If an enemy figure is within 2 spaces of Jeanne, and its base is no more than 3 levels above Jeanne's height or 3 levels below Jeanne's base, you may add 1 to her range value when attacking that figure.
Which, with an attack of 3, if she gets height, you're going to be getting attacks of 4 pretty regularly.
Yeah, so that's a range of 3, right?
It's a range 2 attack, basically.
Oh, it's a
range.
Reach
is a power that's existed, I want to say, since the Hydra in D&D. But basically, it is a fancy way of saying this is a range 2 unit, but not exactly range 2, because theoretically someone could be playing on top of a castle wall, and then it's kind of problematic for us to say that the like Hydra's neck or that this pole axe can reach all the way down to the bottom of a wall.
No, so yeah, that's understandable with the rules then. It's really cool. Again, we're getting a good amount of filler units from this
which is
wave.
Definitely something that was, I think, aside from like Kita, was definitely lacking from the original AOA designs. We got the Deflectatron at 25, which is like it's all right, but having especially unique fillers like Isamu, Blink, Corvin, and now Jeanne, we have a good suite. And then Champion and Knight, Champion, she's going to work with all those classic squads that want her to be a champion and the Frost Claws. Knight is an interesting one. There's not a whole lot of payoff for that right now. Like there is, I think exclusively she buffs Dupuis. So I think Sir Dupuis gets like an attack buff for nearby Knights, but that's literally the only overlap right now.
Okay. Well, that's taking a look at Jeanne d'Arc. Like I said, great character, very, very great card. And yeah, keep on going.
Second
Renegade.
Named historical character too, I think, after Spartacus. This is the second time we've had like a specific named person that wasn't like a fictional creation.
Oh, and also shout out to, I think we already have a Jeanne d'Arc on VC as well. So
yes, the VC made a Jeanne d'Arc. New Generation Customs made De La Pucelle, which is based off of Joan of Arc's name, like one of her other names at the time. So there's kind of a convergent evolution where multiple, I think, designers were all making their own Joan of Arc figures, because she's such an iconic person from history, and it makes a
Exactly.
great fit in Heroscape of having a knight. She died being martyred, like at the stake, burned on the stake, which is a very like Valhalla-esque, like, and then she got summoned right before she succumbed to the flames kind of
There you go.
situation. Just a lot of ways make her, like, the historical figure, such a great fit for the like the whole story as well. Oh, Justin's bringing up Concan 1.0 also gives her an extra attack and defense when adjacent because
There you
she's a
go.
knight. So that's also, we talked about Concan in the bio, and we'll see how he interacts in the new iteration too. But the old Concan does also work as her mentor.
There you go. So that's taking a look at Jeanne d'Arc. Jeanne of Arc. Awesome. All right. Yeah, good. Okay. Sorry. That's good. At least I didn't close the window. All right. Frizzit. And I make the joke for a Frizzit a Galagan that Frizzit is the sound that the gun makes.
Oh, definitely.
So let's read the lore for how do you usually say it typically? Frizzit?
I just say frizzed Galligan, like
Frizzed.
frizz with a T at the end. Frizzed.
Okay, frizzed. Okay, that sounds fine. Yeah,
I have
like
no idea who came up with the name or how they came up with it, but it is a fun name.
It's the sound the gun makes. That's how I'm going to say it, and I'm sticking to it. Frizzed had been barely more than a fry when he first left the ocean behind. A fierce young scholar, both blessed and cursed by the assuredness of youth. When he had presented his findings to the council, they had dismissed his concerns out of hand. But Frist knew he was right. He had studied the Erland tablet, and its implications were clear. Rediscovery of the wellsprings would lead to the rediscovery of the Citadel and spell doom for all who called Valhalla home, both above and below the waves. He left the next day. It has been 12 years since Frist last spoke to a member of his own species. Those he once called friends would hardly recognize the person he has become. Still a scholar, but with the heart of a warrior now as well. He had Jandar and his people to thank for that transformation. The Valkyrie had taken Frist in unquestioningly and did not push when Frist insisted that he could reveal nothing about his people. That small act of trust won Fritz's loyalty.
Yeah, it gets fun when you add apostrophe S to the end.
Over the intervening years, as the Valkyrie all summon warriors from distant worlds, Jandar's choices continued to impress Fritz. His commitment to finding a way to send the off-worlders home never wavered, and he had a passion for summoning both valiant fighters and impassioned underdogs. Of those, Frist forged a particular bond with the Meridians and Omnicron Solbergs from Alpha Prime. Okay, so there's mentioned Meridians here. Interesting.
Yep, they got another reference. We talked about them earlier with Agent SI4X, but they're showing up in another Alpha Prime adjacent figures bio.
Guys, that's a pretty darn strong indicator that sooner or later they're going to be showing up. I'm just saying.
Definitely infer that.
And Omicron Stolbergs from Alpha Prime, they strove against impossible odds on their home planet because they knew it was the right thing to do. And they do the same here on Valhalla. Now, after all this time, Fritz and his closest friend Zetacron lead a small band of Meridian soldiers to the shore. The mission is for Fritz to establish contact with the Gellery Vanguard and that have allied themselves with Vidar. Ideally entreating his people to peace. However, to Fritz, his species and his people stopped being the same some years ago. Interesting. So there's a little bit of... Okay. So first of all, we're going back to the very beginning.
Yep. That's where he comes from. He was in the original animated commercial as a background character that Dylan went, I want to make this guy real finally.
And I'm just going to point out on this picture of Fritz, there is, because I see this all the time with my animations. You have a little white hair here.
Hair there on the base. Yeah.
It happens to the best of
darn
us.
hair sneaking on the paint masters there. Hey, I mean, it's better than me. Like, I've got a pre-painted Zenithrex that I'm still picking dog hairs out of, or a hand-painted, like a custom-painted Zenithrex that I made. And I'm still picking dog hair out of it.
I have 2 cats. That's all I need to say. Yeah, exactly. Old cats do now. I'm getting up there in age. But yeah, this, like, just expanding on why we didn't know about the gallery to begin with, going throughout, like, up until, like, present day, when it's like, okay, I'm going to try and recommunicate with my people, but they probably don't even remember me.
Yeah. Well, and also he probably doesn't necessarily fully, like, belong with them either himself.
Yeah.
Like, he's moved on as a person. He's, become a scientist, a scholar. He's learned and, grown as a person, and he's also became such close friends with these off-worlders in the, like, Jandar summons from Alpha Prime, which is just a fun way to tie in his high-tech blue and white armor, because they are, designed by Zetacron in this case.
I'm sorry, Derek is commenting. Hey, Derek, how you doing tonight? Says, why is this not Eel and I'm sure you meant to continue praising that figure. Oh no, we've
travel back a week.
We've done that.
Yeah. Travel a week back, or go check out a new video uploaded by Tales of Valhalla on their YouTube channel.
Yeah, I already released that video. We did talk quite a bit of them, but now we're talking about Fritz. And I noticed also
other gallery figure or the other figure that can be moved by tidal advance.
And can swim. I love these miniatures that you don't have to worry about stopping in water too. That's awesome.
Shouldn't matter too much in competitive play, but it would be horrible if they didn't have it. Like, it's just such a flavor, easy win, and it would feel so bad if they didn't have it.
And guys, just so you know, rain is it's raining on my house, so hopefully there's no strong storm. But if the power, if the stream cuts off very, very quickly, probably means my power's out. But hopefully it's not a strong. Hopefully it's not a strong storm. It's just gentle rain. But I'm just saying. If something all of a sudden goes,
I'll do a little tap dance or something if you disappear.
Exactly. Well, the whole stream will disappear. So.
I mean, it's just for me. It's not for anyone else. It's just for
okay.
me.
Just for you. Okay.
Yeah.
I got it. Anyway, one thing I also wanted to say, in that lore, I don't think I've heard a character's name named so much in a bit of lore that I read, because I felt like I was saying like every other sentence.
I feel like the writer just wanted to make sure that you had to say the name over and over again. I think it was a targeted attack, just like Frizz can target enemies with his cannon.
Now that's a segue. All right, let's read the card. Jandar, Gallery Unique Hero, Sniper, and Soldier, Fierce, Medium 5, Life of 2, Move of 5, Range of 5, Attack of 2, Defense of 2, 35 points. Guys, we are getting our filler units, people. We are getting our filler units.
We already had the 2 air vehicles from Joe at 35 points, and now here in Citadel we are sitting on 4 or 5 different filler heroes added. So a lot of great pieces to be thrown into different armies, so you can kind of choose a filler based on what works best for your army instead of just what is the only option at that point total.
I really like this guy's, and I like this guy. I like the special abilities too. So fire and ready. At the end of your player turn, you may reveal the X. Any card that you can use an X order marker is awesome. You may reveal the X order marker on this army card to take a turn with Fritz. So it's a 4th turn you can take. No other army card may take this turn instead of Fritz. If Fritz moves during this turn, he cannot attack. So, but it doesn't. He doesn't have to move.
Very restrained turn. He cannot move and attack. He has to choose move or attack, and he can't trade it off to a Kraken to take the turn instead of him.
He doesn't have to, because he's got RA-1A Guided Cannon Special Attack, Range 10, Attack 2. RA-1A Guided Cannon. That's okay. That's a lot of words. Guided Cannon Special Attack can target only figures that are adjacent to one or more figures you control. So you got to be engaged, but figures never have height advantage against an RA-1A Guided Cannon Special Attack. So no height. So you could be fighting someone on height, and this is perfect. So this Fritz can be in the water if you're starting out on water spaces, or this is just very beneficial for your I'm not exactly sure how many competitive maps have like water spaces to where this will be important, but if you do, definite advantage. Even just hanging them back, because at 10 range, it's like you just stay in the start zone and just have X order marker every time. Just take pot shots every round. It's again, it's a nice filler for it. It doesn't even have to be technically a ranged army. You can just have like this ranged unit popped in, taking pot shots for your melee army, depending on who or what he bonds with. So yeah, I think it's great fun filler.
Do you want to hear? So there's an Easter egg that I don't think anyone else has caught on to yet. But do you know why the guided cannon is called that?
RA1A, like R2D2?
Nope, it is a fish reference. So there's a type of fish called an arowana.
Okay.
And arowanas.
Not have understood that reference.
I gotta go back because I don't think there are archer fish which shoot water. I think in this case, arowanas they're fearsome fish.
So this is like
some variants will jump out of the water to attack people as well. So it's a hidden pun, yes.
Are you telling me that what he's carrying is a super soaker? That's why you kind of encourage him to be in water.
If you look at it, it is a bit Piscean in shape. It is a fish cannon.
Okay, guys, get this miniature unpainted and paint this cannon like a freaking super soaker. Do it.
Or like a goldfish or a salmon. I feel like there's a lot of fun ways. But no, the arowana cannon is a fun little fish pun that no one had caught on to yet, so I wanted to bring it up.
First here tonight, guys. First here tonight. There you go.
It's a fun hidden reference.
Yeah, no, it's a good unit. Again, another good filler unit. And see what Justin's saying. Swim and range attack. Just stick him in the middle of the lake if that's on your.
He has great play with G.I. Joe, like the green shirts. They're naturally moving heroes up anyways, so you can have him in position as needed. If he's next to Duke, if you're using fire when ready and just use your primary fire, it goes from 2 attack up to 3 if it's near Duke, or Marcus Decimus Gallus in all time. Sniper also means he can be deputized by Guilty McCreech, so you can put him into lawman builds as well. There's a bit of contesting over the X order marker then, though, because KNAC kind of wants it as well. But it is still a use, and especially like if you're using Clayton Pearson in all time, or in VC, or just a standard lawman build here in Contemporary, that sniper does make him a legal deputized target. So that's just some fun cross-box synergy, even if it's not the strongest option.
Derek, Ritz Cracker Galligan. Okay, I guess that's one way to put it. It's only
Ritz Galaga.
It's only one L, Derek. But just say.
It's Galaga with an N stapled on the end.
And let's just say this is Frizzboy, and he's a good filler unit. And
old Frisbee, shoot from downtown as long as the enemy's adjacent to a melee figure you have.
10 range, you're not gonna really miss anybody. It's basically the practically the whole field.
Yep. And range 10 ties him with Deadeye Dan's 10 range, so snipers have that 10 range. Sniper heroes, I should say, because I guess the Omnicron snipers I think are shorter range. But he can shoot very far, but only against enemies who are melee with his enemies or with his allies.
Here you go, guys. Another reason to get this good filler unit. All right, let's move on because we got to move on.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to. I wish he was coming out now so I could play him with like the G.I. Joe figures, because as a soldier he just fits so well into them. He's also fun with Gallery because they'll move him up.
All right, Concan, the Kiri Warrior. Well, he's seen better days. It looks like. I don't know. He's a.
Yeah, I can't. People said he looks like Matt Smith. I think he looks kind of like a shaved Viggo Mortensen in a way, but like if you've seen Viggo Mortensen lately, he's definitely a bit older. So like, that's kind of the vibe I've been getting from him. But his Fabio hair has definitely been silvered out, as we can see. The years have taken a toll on him.
How many people are gonna know that reference? Fabio is.
I feel like I've crossed so many generations just by mentioning Matt Smith, Viggo Mortensen, and Fabio all in one sentence. So like. Any time travelers, you're welcome.
So, Konkan, the Kairi Warrior 2.0. Let's read the lore. It's too bad that, like, his sword is sheathed, but...
I like the pose so much, though.
Well, no, the pose is nice. It's just animating. He's just going to be like... It's going to be like a quick draw, on a sword.
Yeah,
like,
just quickly... just make a cape out of, like, blue putty and put it on the 1.0 model so you can have, like, a swinging animation.
Something like that.
Just paint the hair gray.
It's easy.
And pretend the wings look the same and everything else.
Alright, the lore. When the Valkyrie rose and war broke out across Valhalla, the Kiri warrior Konkan watched from his keep with concern, but did not intervene. His castle in the northern reaches of Lour, where snowy cliffs towered over icy shores, had remained a place of solace for decades. He was visited by both Jandar and Utgar in those days. Pledge your service to me, and all of Lour will be yours to rule, Utgar had said. You will have Bleakwood's might. Utgar is a threat that would overwhelm all of Valhalla if we do not stop him. I need your help, friend, Jandar had said. Nostraland is in need of your vigilance. Konkan did not agree with either. His castle held a powerful secret, one of the very wellsprings that Jandar and Utgar both sought, and he believed that both Valkyrie would say anything in order to have it under their sway. Ultimately, though, his friend Raylan convinced him that Jandar's intentions were pure, and for the decade that followed, Konkan's castle became a pivotal objective in the war between Jandar and Utgar. But much has changed. Utgar is gone. Not dead! And in his wake there is Leviatak, a leader from Utgar's ranks who promises a new era for Utgar's people and all those he has summoned. And although Konkan is skeptical about this, as he should, Raylan has asked him to trust her one more time. Trust that Utgar's people can still be led in a direction that will benefit all of Valhalla. Well, yeah, as long as the sword end is not pointed towards them, yes. To this end, Konkan has become an important peacemaker within this new alliance. Traveling between Jandar's and Utgar's camps, it helps, he thinks, that there are other forces which they must now band together against. But when the fighting is over, will those who defended Jandar's realms and those who surged to conquer them under Utgar have anything in common? Exactly. Konkan hopes so, or else the next era of war will harbor only deeper hatred and betrayal. Yes. Yeah, and this is so this is kind of like, again, we're going kind of back to the beginning. Mm-hmm. Again in Heroscape lore, seeing a little bit of Konkan's backstory, which is nice.
And I believe that was established in his original bio too. Like, he was neutral in the war at the beginning and courted by both Utgar and Jandar, which is what put him as such a, like, ideal hero to be selected for, like, the new alliance's anchor piece, if you will, because the lore actually set up for a Jandar and Utgar themed hero here.
Derek, you're exactly right. Tommy Wiseau. Yes. Why didn't I see that?
Oh,
before?
now that's a wild pull, but I gotta see it.
I see it. I
did not give the knight a +1 attack bonus. I did not. Oh, hi, Raylan.
Now, if I don't do some type of special stop motion animation for that, I don't know what's wrong with me. You got to bring the room references.
That's why he's got the sheath stance right there, so he can just kind of walk up and be like, "Oh, hi, Mark. You're tearing me apart, Runa."
I'm gonna lose it. Yeah, no, that's perfect, Derek. That's absolutely perfect. Now that's a more actually, it's not actually a recent reference either, a cultural reference.
We've spanned, I think, pretty much all of the last 40 or so years of Western television and film media.
You're tearing my apart, Leviatak. Yeah, that too. I think Runa is better though. Runa sounds a little bit better. Sounds more like Lisa.
You could say Lovi.
Lovi, yeah, you could.
And shorten it, yeah. That's a little more relevant in the modern age.
Okay, let's read the card. Go through it real quick. Concan the Kiri, because we could talk forever about the lore, but we do have to get through these as quickly as possible. So, Concan the Kiri Warrior 2.0, Kiri, unique hero, champion, and warrior, Valiant, medium 5, life is 6, move of 5, range of 1, attack of 4, defensive for 100 points. Might of Bleakwood. Other Jandar figures you control within 5 clear sight spaces of Concan the Kiri Warrior add 1 to their attack value if there is a revealed order marker on an Ukkar army card in your army. So it's very specific for this. Vigilance of Nostralan. Ukkar figures you control within 5 clear sight spaces of Concan can add 1 to their defense value if there is a revealed order marker on a Jandar army card in your army. So this definitely aims more for an Ukkar Vider army build, and the stats are good on them. It's good stats. Now, whether or not it just depends. Now, the thing with Heroscape, and this happened long before lore. Lore is demanding a change on the card. You mixed and matched armies from all kinds of factions.
Oh yeah.
Anyway.
I think the original rulebook even says something like alliances are always shifting on Valhalla, so feel free to use anyone with anyone. Like they were very smart in having a direct, rulebook call out that like, hey, you're supposed to mix and match these figures. And I think Concan here is probably one of my favorite like integrations of like a multi-general army build into the game. I mean, he's really the first I think we have an official that really benefits having specifically 2 different generals called out by name. Like we've seen ones that benefit like Vidar and Revna with size Phantom protocols, but like this one you really want to use this whole kit by balancing your Utgar and Jandar order markers. And there's some fun too with Frizz, who can let you reveal the X order marker, which is an order marker revealed on a Jandar card. So if you have Concan bonding with an Utgar unit, or if you're taking turns with an Utgar unit and you're still using Frizz, Concan's aura of 5 to give +1 defense to Utgar, +1 attack to Jandar, like that's a pretty wide-reaching range.
There you go. Yeah, no, it can be very effective. Like I said, I think this is probably, out of all the units in this wave, this is probably the more lore-specific card unit out of the bunch.
Well, I mean, just with the names Might of Bleakwood and Vigilance of Nostralan, like it's directly tying to Utgar and Jandar's homelands and kind of their main aspects of Might and Vigilance. But even if like the powers are too fiddly for you to get to work, like 4 attack, 4 defense with flying, move 5 and 6 life, like he's a beat stick. Like you can still just play him at 100 points with Frosties, and I think you're gonna get really good value out of him just because he can do a lot. But if you do have, if you're running him with the Gnarl first, who we'll get to in a bit, and you have Frizzed, who will get you that X order marker revealed on a blue card quickly, then all your red Utgar cards are getting that +1 defense. And then if you're taking turns with Utgar figures, your Jandar figures get +1 attack. Like you can have bears that are throwing out, 4 attack, melee, 2, and sprinting. So there is definitely some use for it.
It'd be interesting to see if, like, come Gen Con, or I'm wondering if these units will be used for Gen Con? Would they be able to? I think they
will be, because they release in July.
Okay.
Gen Con starts at the end of July, so I would imagine just like the common squads were out just in time for Gen Con this last year. I have a feeling this year we're going to see all the. I mean, I'm pretty sure straight up having Citadel at Gen Con is like the big thing, because like trade and industry wise, you want to have a big new flagship product at Gen Con. A lot of people with a lot of money go to that convention. It's where you're going to get most of your good marketing out, and you're going to meet with other vendors and reps. Like, it's very much when you want to have new product out. So I imagine we're going to see a lot of these new units. I'm just curious to see which ones actually take the top tables.
That will be an interesting thing to watch. But yes, so for Concan, I think it's brilliant for the fact that it really molds well with in this wave the Jandar and Utgar minis, which you want it to do. And I'm sure there's also plays for. Since it's got the class of champion and warrior, it can work with other builds as well. Just it's
Yeah.
General specific.
Champion, since he's a Jandar champion, he works with the Frostclaw Paladins.
Mm-hmm.
But then Warrior doesn't really have any payoff. Warrior, especially Jandar Warriors, one they've shied away from ever having synergy because it includes the original Raylan.
There you go.
But Valiant has its own set of
Valiant
uses
class,
too.
for sure. So yeah, that's taking a look at Concan 2.0. Got a second one. So you got two of them to think about how you're going to play, and both play very differently on the battlefield. So
one of them is a passive buff for the Ordo Borealis, and the other is a really wide-reaching aura that is conditional and complicated in how to use, but rewarding if you can make it work right.
Absolutely. And so yeah, that's that for that. All right, now let us move on. And one thing I wanted to say as well. Well, I'll actually end it with this because Justin was saying I met Greg Sestro, who played Mark, at a screening, and he signed my DVD copy of The Room. How cool is that? Very nice, very nice. Yep. Yeah, I'd say with the face. Yeah, it's definitely.
I see it.
I don't know how Renegade did it, but like so many cultural references in just one face. Who'd have thought? All right. Let us continue down the line.
Onto the Utgar figures.
Now for Raiders. Now, these are impressive. This is an impressive squad. Now for Raiders.
Return to the Bears. The sculpts are leaner, meaner. I definitely wish they were a little more one-to-one with their Frostclaw contemporaries, but they are very much a new squad of Ursine looking to do the same Ursine strategy of beating the enemy to a pulp.
And yeah, like I said, the minis aren't much like. I think out of actually all the minis, I think they're my least favorite sculpt.
That's very valid. I think they came out a little too humanoid.
Right, but that just means, along with because they're paired with the Morrow Hive Lord, which we'll talk about in a minute, but I can easily paint Morrow. That type of painting I can do rather well. I have a little bit of experience. That's what I can do well. And since these are such simple miniatures, I just get them unpainted as I just get that box unpainted, paint them, and there I spend a couple bucks less, and it still works as a good unit because you only need a unique. That's it. The unique, so you only need it one time. So it's perfect for that. But let's read through the lore here. Now for Raiders. The strong eat. The weak die. This is the law of the Fang. The philosophy which dictated Noxtorma's history for ages. Before the Vords learned how to make machines, before the discovery of Silene shattered the line between life and death, all that mattered was strength. Ursine, from across Noxtorma, sought out the Gnarlfur clan, who reveled in the law. Unified under mighty clan leaders, they used their power to ensure that none within their host would want for anything. Food, coin, comfort, all flowed freely and were given freely to anyone who could prove themselves worthy to join the clan. Yet as their armies grew and glory manifested, many clan members were lost. As battles raged and forces dwindled on both sides, the raiders of the Gnarlfur clan only increased in ferocity. Refusing to let fatigue take them as they avenged their fallen clanmates, this how do you say that word? I'm just do it.
I need to double check because I always thought it was indefatigable, but I think it's actually indefatigable. Weirdly enough, at least that's how I heard it pronounced in the song. So I'm gonna Google it right now.
This I like indefatigable because then you understand what's
indefatigable. I believe
they can't be
what it actually is.
They can't be fatigued.
But yes, it's unable to be fatigued, persisting or tireless.
Anyway, that word power serves them well in the armies of House Utgar. For while the Gnarlfurs know their days in Valhalla are limited, they fight on even harder, ensuring their clan's legacy will be remembered in this new world as well as back home. Now serving as Leviatak's leading strike force into the Citadel, the Gnarlfur Raiders will carve their names through the blood and stone, that their might shall be known for all time. Now, this is one of the best squads. out of this whole wave. No doubt.
I
even
really
before
love
reading
these
the card.
guys mechanically. Like
Yeah.
they're just a very straightforward mechanical squad.
Yeah.
They're evil, angry Viking bears, and they play exactly like you would expect.
Let's just look at the card here. Should I want to worry about expand. Let's read through it because we gotta go through more of these. But now for Raiders, Earth Sign, Unique Squad, Raider, Relentless, Large 7, Life of 2. Life of 2 is important. Move of 5, range of 1, attack 3, defense 3, 90 points. Mighty Hero Bonding. Before taking a turn with Null for Raiders, you may first take a turn with a valiant or relentless hero you control whose affiliation is Uthgar or Jandar. So again, another kind of like a lore specific build, but not too much.
This era definitely has a lot of heroes that are trying to set up these. I mean, these factions are going to be the main narrative driving force for the next,
It's still cool that
like the rest of this era.
You can link these guys with Jandar like heroes. I think that's great.
My favorite thing about it, is that they work with some of the the original Viking champs, and Alistair McDirk were all valiant because they had the kind of Hollywood glamorized version of Vikings as their inspiration. But Vikings were really nasty guys. Like they stole and killed and pillaged. Like that was their whole thing. So these are just the Uthgar mirror of the Jandar Vikings. This is the Ursine Vikings as compared to the Jandar ones. And I do like that you can run them together. Or in the case of Alistair, he gets stronger the more damage he takes. These guys get stronger the more of them die. And more bonding for Krug, as Justin brings up. That is very true.
Boom, yeah. And Justin's also saying Hexala showcase Frostclaw, Concan, and Narflers very well in their gameplay video. Maybe even more excited to get these. Yeah, I'm excited already. Like I said, if I don't get anything else, I'm definitely gonna pre-order pack of these because I want me an Isimu. So there you go. Isimu
345 points gets you the Gnarlfurs, Frostclaws, Concan, and Frizzed. And that package right there, as long as you take an order marker on the Gnarlfurs, you bond with Concan, take the Gnarlfur turn, reveal the X order marker on Frizzed, now you have both an Uthgar and a Jandar order marker revealed. So your second and third order markers can be on either squad of bears, and both squads are going to be getting the buffs that they need.
This might be part of the army that wins Gen Con, the World Championship this year. It's probably going to be.
Curious as so, because they're strong. We need to go over Brothers in Blood, obviously.
Let's do it.
I don't know if they're strong enough, though.
Brothers in Blood. Increase the move, attack, and defense values in this army card by 1 for each of your destroyed Gnarlfur Raiders. So every time one's removed, so you would get a buff from one eventually just turns into practically a hero character.
Yep. Because you have
5 attack, 5 defense.
Yeah, you have 3 figures that are 5 move, 3 3s.
But at least 5 attack, 5 defense. You could get buffs that could turn into 6 attack.
Easily. So they start as 5 move, 3 3s, and then they go to 2 6 move, 4 4s, and then 1 7 move, 5 5, which is that's a crazy hero stat block right there. And then if you throw in things like Concan with his aura, if you can get it on, any classic Raylins that can buff defense. You can pair them. I love pairing them with Leviatok because she's a relentless Uthgar hero.
Right.
So when you have that last Gnarlfur up, at 5 attack, 5 defense, attacking in melee and bonding with Lovi,
tough to kill.
You can use her reroll power to reroll 5 attack dice, reroll all the dice that did not show skulls. They are going to be, I think, the main stress test to see if Leviatok is going to be a viable figure in a contemporary era.
No, I can't wait to try them out. I forgot movement plus attack and defense values, including any buffs. Yeah, it's I think this is the first time I've seen a unit or maybe a squad unit that can be a beginning and end game unit at the same time. You could do both.
I think they play very similarly in VC. There is a unique squad of Meridians that have a similar power, if I remember correctly. But this is the first official integration of such a power, and I'm curious to see. It is just bad if any of them dies. Period. You don't want your unique squad figures to die because you're losing out on activations. But they get a revenge comeback mechanic as they're losing those activations, and I am curious to see if we ever have one blood crazed bear running around 5 attack, 5 defense, 7 move that just can't be killed and able to just axe murder his way through everyone
to end the I'm sure we'll see. It actually be interesting that if someone has an Alpha Raider on one side and then Isumu on the other side.
Hmm?
You know?
Which they also bond with Isamu because he's relentless. The new one is.
Oh, there. Yeah.
So for 100 points,
Relentless
just them
hero.
and Isamu. 100 points for them and Isamu is just a good hit squad right there.
Freaking insane. Freaking, it's like a good pod too.
Yeah.
Like, so
just slap that 100 onto something else that you've got that needs, has a spare 100 points.
Crazy. Anyway, okay. So, like I said, we don't want to get in talk too much on this because we still got to continue through these. But now for Raiders, guys, you can get it unpainted. And you don't have to worry about it because the sculpts aren't that great. It's the card value that's important.
The card is really great. I'm excited to see how people paint them up. Mm-hmm. I like the canon, them being different bear types, and that's something that the lore kind of connects to. Is like, this isn't one specific homogenized group of one specific type of bear. It's literally just any earth sign in the region or in Noxtorma who are like, you know what? I'm bigger than Vorids. I want to bully and take and steal. So it's very, very similar to original Viking, real life Vikings and pirates in that regard, to where it's like, yeah, no, if you're with us, we're very egalitarian because we don't care about race or anything like that. We just care that you can help us steal and kill and murder. So there's kind of a weird twisted form of virtue in that, but it's gate kept behind murder and pillaging and killing. So I think narratively it's going to be interesting to see them fighting with a puny human of Jeanne d'Arc, and kind of how she is very different from the virtue, what they see as virtuous or as the way life should be.
Absolutely wild. And they're doing all that while wearing a kilt. All right, so that's taking a look at for Raiders. Get them, guys. Get them. Okay. Now, next, we are going through this as fast as possible because we still have so many to do. All right, so to go...
5 more, I think, after this next one.
So to go with for Raiders, we have, so in the box, Ka-Rega. Just that's just it's hideous.
Horrifying shrimp, hecaton cherries, 100-handed one kind of amalgamation here.
Morrow is back, baby. Okay, so Ka-Rega, Corporate Steward's Journal, 12th of Vidas, 281 AMR. I'm used to nightmares. My first drop, Normandy, the Battle of Meagle's Tomb, finding Private Chapman dead in the rain. I've grown accustomed to these nightly visitors, but I don't think I'll ever grow accustomed to her. Me and the other airborne elite have been holed up at Keldon Fortress, along with the detachment of Jandar's finest knights and Minutemen. The place had a reputation for being unassailable. We had fought back wave after wave of orcs, wolves, and even the hideous Morrow, and none had so much as marred the paint on the front door. Spirits were high. At this rate, we would easily last until winter. There was hardly any warning. No tremors or telltale sound of sappers digging beneath our feet. Only a prickling on the back of my neck, a primal thought deep in my skull. Not the probing and gasping shackles of Nigak-Sa or Kimoshi that I knew all too well, but a gnawing hunger and an uncanny pull toward oblivion. Then a deafening explosion of stone and earth, a flurry of skinless arms, 6 good men pulled bodily into a mass of tendrils and devoured. This repeated for hours. Silence, dread, death. When we did manage to tag her with a blade or bullet, her next attack came even deadlier than the last. The garrison was decimated. The gates swung open by sundown. Now, Jandar wants us to work by her side as she carves up this citadel. This thing that was engineered specifically to break us. This creature whose horrible, lidless eyes are etched in the back of my own eyelids whenever I close them. I'll do it because I owe Jandar my life, and because he has promised to send us all home. But when that day comes, I'm going to hold back and make sure she goes home first. Had to put a little emotion in there for that because.
That's one of your boys right there. That's one of the airborne elite.
It is different names, but
different name, but same mini.
Same miniatures. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I love Dylan really went all out with like the horror
yeah.
aspect
No,
for
it's good.
his
It's
Hive
excellent.
Lord. And I like that this shows, we've already had like the hopeful and the skeptical sides of the new alliance.
Hmm.
And now this is the straight up like, I'm only going along with this because it's orders,
Yeah.
but I do not agree with this side.
No.
And I think kind of that myriad emotional spectrum we have for the at least the Jandar side of the new alliance makes it at least it's a fun narrative faction. Like not
Mhm.
everyone loves it, but I think it is certainly of the four alliances, it is the one that's going to have the most interesting story beats because it is the one that has the
Mhm.
most internal tension out of any of these
Exactly.
alliances.
The tension involved in this, I think, is a great story beat. I mean, regardless of whether you agree or disagree with the alliance, the tension that's involved with it, yeah, definitely plays a lot. And
Because on the one hand, you have a Catholic saint, and on the other one, you have a horrifying shrimp with 1,000 arms that devours anyone it touches.
this is Heroscape, baby.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, let's read the card. Utgar, Karega, Maro, unique hero, Hive Lord, guys. We got a Hive Lord. Relentless,
The nag
Huge
grubs.
9. Exactly.
Girls gotta eat.
She definitely does. 7 life, move of 6, range of 1, attack of 5, defense of 3 for 140 points. That's not bad.
Very violent, but susceptible to killing. That's
Hi-
less health, same defense as Adelburn, notably.
There you go. A Hive Tunnel. Instead of moving normally with Karega, you may Hive Tunnel. Choose an empty space within 4 spaces that is no higher than 6 levels above or below her level, and place Karega on that space. Then roll the 20-sided die for each figure adjacent to Karega. So, okay. I'm just rereading this. Okay, so you move her 4 space, at least within 4 spaces
She
ahead.
burrows into an empty space within 4, so it does have to be empty. You can't just have her burrow into her own space. She has to go to a new space.
Yep.
That's within 4, and then she bursts out of it.
So it can be one space as long as she's not surrounded. Now, so the trick is you probably want to surround. Well, you can't really even because if there's an empty space like 3 spaces outside of that, then it doesn't matter. So you can't really surround her either.
She can dip out, but she will take leaving engagement attacks. You'll see as it says at the end. So
okay.
She can't just do this for free, and surrounding her is definitely
the better option.
I don't know. It's a double-edged sword, as we'll get here with what the D20 roll does.
Add 1. Okay, roll a 20-sided die for each figure adjacent to Karega. So you roll a 20-sided die once.
No, you roll it once for each figure. So
okay.
up to 6 times if you're surrounded by 6 other figures.
Add 1 for each wound marker on this army card. If you roll a 1 through 13, nothing happens. If you roll a 14 through 19, that figure receives 1 wound. If you roll a 20, that figure receives 3 wounds. Okay, so I mean it's a special ability relying on a 20-sided die marker, and
it's got a 30% chance of hitting normally, but you get an extra 5% every wound she has for an additional 30%, making it like a 60% chance. If she's at just 1 life, it's now a 60% chance to deal at least 1 wound, and it's easier to get. It's what I think at that point it's like a 30% chance that you'll get the 3 wounds at that point too, because you're adding and you can't go over 20.
There you go. If Karega is engaged when she starts to Hive Tunnel, she'll take any lead engagement attacks. Okay, so
and that's instead of moving normally. That does not replace her attack, so she can do this and still attack. She is very violent.
There you go. Naming, rendering, and tearing. Yeah, no, it's everything you want from Amaro, I'd say. And this is
she continues the Utgar New Alliance theme of like vengeance and hitting back harder when you're damaged or wounded or not going down without a fight. Because Samu, he doesn't die until the end of the round, so he doesn't go down without a fight. Gnarlfurs, as they die, they get strong. Like the survivors get stronger, and Karega, as she takes wounds in kind of a Krug-like fashion, she's going to be dealing more damage. So it's kind of a fun gambit then of like, if she does Hive Tunnel, do you take the leaving engagement attacks on her because you want to damage her?
Yeah.
But if you do, she's going to get a bonus to her rolls when she bursts out. So it's kind of you have to gauge the odds and the math if you're playing
Yeah.
against her. Do I take these leaving gauge next? I think you always do. Like,
Yeah.
wounds are wounds, but she's still getting use out of those wounds until the very end.
Going, in a very good range unit up against her, basically.
Yes,
It's,
shoot her dead.
yeah.
Do not let this shrimp get close to you, or you will
Exactly.
become a Scooby snack.
Exactly. And I guess that's all we need to say about this. I know we could get
Yep.
deeper into it, but we've got
I
more
mean,
units
Hive
to go through.
Lord,
But
all time runner with
Relentless,
Nagrubs. Even just her and 2 squads of Nagrubs for 200 points is really good.
Yeah.
She can eat the Nagrubs to heal, so you can keep her running longer. Like, she definitely. I don't think you need Nagrubs to play her. I think she works great. What for 230 points? Her plus Gnarlfurs is a really good hit squad.
Sure.
But like, all time, if you have Nagrubs, I've seen people theorizing about running her plus like Torkulna.
For like a king build.
Just well,
or
like just 2
king
Hive
and
Lords and a
queen
ton
build.
of king and queen, and one of them's a shrimp. And then just a ton of Nagrubs for the healing. I've also seen people talking about how you can run her with Subakna. I mean, that's, I think, 300 points right there just for the 2 of them.
Yeah.
But he'll give the D20 rolls on Hive 20 a plus, or Hive Tunnel a +1 as well, so
My goodness.
further increase the reliability of that power. Just a lot of fun interactions across
sure.
classic and contemporary.
Excellent. So that's taking a look at Karega, definitely the most horrific sculpt.
Gosh, they did so good with the character art and the sculpt. Like, really, truly came out as a horrifying Marrow monster, and I think that's what we classic fans needed was seeing the Marrow at their full glory of being horrifying, genetically engineered monsters of destruction.
Absolutely. All right, now Dernipia.
The weird one.
This is the odd one.
I think this is my favorite figure from the new stuff out of army building perspectives because of just how much she can do, and we'll get to why that is in a bit.
Right. Let's read the lore. Dernipia learned many secrets as a young healer of the Durgeth tribe. That her species grew back lost limbs, that the comfrey herb cured illnesses, and that the hidden spring her tribe protected could heal even mortal injuries. In those days, intruders were dealt with swiftly, and their flesh fed the tribe through harsh winters. But then the Valkyrie rose and everything changed. Kiri descended upon the swamps in the days following. They said they had been sent by the Arch-Kyrie Einar, that he owned this land from horizon to horizon, and that they were seeking a spring that would make Einar rule over all Valhalla. The Durgeth resisted for a time, but while their numbers dwindled, the tide of soldiers from the Golden Palace never slowed. One night, as the wounded cried out after a desperate battle, Dernipia was nowhere to be found. She was in Einar's throne room, surrounded by his golden masked guards, offering up the location of the spring, the prize of the Durgeth, in exchange for her life. Einar rewarded her richly. Even as his soldiers razed her village, she was adorned with gold and given a permanent place of honor in his court. He even provided her with her own laboratory from which to pursue her study of medicine, and she quickly went to work. There were many strange soldiers to heal indeed after Einar drank of the spring and became a Valkyrie, and creatures from across the universe became her patients. Dernipia's methods were proven as effective as they are cruel. She uses her regenerative cells as a bonding agent, allowing for shocking limb transplants, such as grafting her own arm to the Viking warrior Valgard in order to free up space for a pair of new hands, or for a new pair of hands. If she had any regret about betraying her tribe, she has long carved them away, so that only a cold pursuit of science's greatest secrets remains. Now, if that isn't a good villain's journey backstory, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I love the way her story came out because it was in it's a lot of classic tie-in too. Because I mean, you see the Valgard call out at the end, but I mean, even from the beginning, I think William wrote this bio because they really like the comfrey plant lore. Because there's a scenario where you go into the Durgeth swamps to get the comfrey, and it mentions that the Durgeth have been long wiped extinct by Einar's forces. So especially towards the end of Swarm of the Morrow and stuff, I think people started seeing Einar as a hero, but like he really isn't. He started out allied with Utgar,
Oh yeah.
and in lore, he straight up genocides an entire commits a genocide against a like people group that is just happens to be in the land that he calls his.
Einar is no hero. Yep.
Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. Yes, these Durgeth killed and ate people. I'm not saying that they themselves automatically good and that Einar is automatically bad, but there is a good deal of like what we're seeing here. Like Einar is the embodiment of imperialism. He is law and order, yes, but he is also conquest and taking over. Like people think conquest is Utgar's thing, but in order to maintain an empire, you often have to raid, kill, pillage, plunder, take, and just straight up be evil. And so I like how Dernipia's bio points out, yes, like, you know, the Roman Empire did similar things. You know, they would invade areas and try to subjugate its peoples. And Dernipia herself, while a victim of this, she betrayed her own people so that she could have a chance to live and then get the resources she needs to pursue her own passion. So I really like setting the way it sets her up as, you know, one, a scientist, but two, like just a really rough backstory. Like she backstabbed her entire people to get Einar his wellspring, and that's why she's so favored in his court, even though she's part of a people group that's been mostly driven extinct or exiled, and one that was killed under Einar's orders. So it kind of gives you that interesting thing of like, she's a Durgeth. Einar killed all the Durgeth except for this one, and then a few scattered here and there, like the lizard from the Dreadnoughts of Caraway Cavern.
Yep. That was the first Durgeth we got to see. No, it reminds me of what would have happened if Grima Wormtongue would have succeeded.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Yeah,
because same beats.
She betrayed her people for the promise of power and you know, riches and stuff. I think the only difference here is Einar never approached her. She approached him is the key difference. Like she's arguably worse than Wormtongue. Because she wasn't corrupted or tempted by a dark tempter. She decided, you know what? Like, we're losing this war. I'm just going to sacrifice my own people to guarantee my survival. And that is a horrible thing. But I think it creates an interesting case of having like a villain here who is like the victim of genocide, but also part of the cause of it.
I think like so far, like lore-wise, this is one of the, like, just from that lore, she's become a top tier villain in my book in Heroscape.
So much characterization for someone who previously was only mentioned briefly in the bio of the 10th Regiment as the person, the nondescript person who was healing the soldiers. It was just said that Madame Dernipia stitched up wounds or something like that.
There you go.
And so for, you know, over 10 years or so, we had no idea who she was until now, and she's a freaky lizard monster.
Which is great. Let's look at the card. Durgeth, unique hero, scientist and wizard. Callous, medium 5. Life of 6, move of 5, range of 1, attack of 3, defense of 3, 75 points. Species Splicer. At the start of the game, you may choose one species from another non-Soulborg army card in your army. Until Dernipia is destroyed, she gains that species. Blood Stitcher 15, once per turn. Before or after moving normally, Dernipia may choose one adjacent non-Soulborg figure and remove 1 or 2 wound markers from it. If she does, she takes an equal number of wounds. If she was not destroyed, roll the 20-sided die for each wound marker on her army card. For each roll of 15 or higher, remove 1 wound marker from Dernipia. I'll do it myself once per round. So I'll do it myself as a special ability once per round. Before you reveal a numbered order marker on an army card in your army, you may move that order marker to Dernipia to reveal it. And of course, flying, because she's got wings. Red Bull gives you wings. 2 different wings,
but she stapled them onto her. No, my maybe hot take is I think she is one of the strongest units that Renegade is going to be releasing. I think she fits A tier in all-time and in classic. Just because Species Splicer gives her a lot of versatility, and her heals are pretty consistent, and she can, even if she's not in an army of bonding, she can just once a round take over somebody else's order marker and do her heals. Like,
I don't even know how to approach this. You know, it's like
you need the right army for her to work. Obviously,
Yeah,
like if you just have a ton of commons in her, it's not going to work. She's not going to heal anything. But Species Splicer, like, gosh, there's so many shenanigans that you can get up to that. Like, she's a wizard, so splice her into an elf, and now she's an elf wizard. So now the elf wizard pod has a healer. She can also be a dwarf, so you can bond her with axe grinders and have her run around healing either Mygel or Mogrim, who are pretty resilient and die by being chipped away slowly. Now they're being chipped away, but she's just healing away whatever you're chipping into them.
And she's got flying. I mean, she can fly around, and it doesn't matter if she takes the leave engagement attack because she can heal herself.
Yeah, she can be an elemental is a really funny one. So you can run her with Kurok, because elemental is a species. It's not like the greatest, but you can use it. He can't revive her because when she dies, she loses the species. But yeah, a lot of crazy uses, and then just her heal. The fact that when you're healing, for every wound on her card after she transfers the wound from her target to her, each wound then on her card has a 25% chance to go away. So if you've got a hot D20, or if you make her a Morrow and now she's getting buffed by Subak, she can regenerate a lot of the wounds that she's healing away. But I really like the fact that, one, she has to take the wounds, and two, it's not a guaranteed thing, so she's not just creating an obnoxious infinite loop of heals. She's just creating a semi-sustainable healing cycle that can be disrupted by just killing her. She's got 3 defense. You can kill her.
Right. And I was asked when we were going through this particular unit to list all the synergies that she has. And apparently there's 79 units that can be synergized with her, which is absolutely insane.
Across, including VC, it's worth
including VC.
It's not just official.
VC. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if I'm going to read through all of these, but let me just start with the A. Aclara, Acolytes of Vorganund. And some of this is VC stuff, guys. Archimer, Ataraxis, Atlaga, Axe Grinders, Bleakface Sneaks, Bugbears, Chardris, Clawfoot, Interceptor, Corver, the Tainted One, Count Raymond, Eben Armor.
Scrollbound. Okay, yes, good. They do list it. Empress Kiova is one of my favorite synergies here. You want to know why?
Mm-hmm.
Empress Kiova specifies Einar Kyrie. So she only works with the
so it becomes a Kyrie, yeah.
Einar Imperium. Mm-hmm. But you see, Dornipia's got an Imperium wing stitched onto her body already. If you fulfill that and make her a Kyrie as well, she gets the full defensive reroll of Kiova. Is it worth it? Maybe not. But it's cool that Kiova has a second figure, because previously it was just the Imperium.
Makes her just that little bit more valuable. Estivara, Goblin Slashers, Guerrilla Trippers, Greenscale Warriors, Haddock, Hellforge, Horgnok.
Yeah, because Hellforge can eat her if she's a Eisenek and have a better heal.
Iron Lich, Jordan, Kurok, Kintella, M43 Resistance Fighters, Mekor, Masha, Singai, Morgaloth, Narak, Shadow Fiend, Shadow Hound, Santor Van, Solbakna, Uglynish, Uzog, Varkanen, a few Varkanen, Dark Claws, Grey Spears, Quick Blades, Swift Fangs, Werewolf Lord, Wildwood. Wildwood
Monarch. She can become a Wildwood and join in that loop, which is a Wildwood
Runners, Zombie Hulks, Tanuki Tricksters, Gravegrim, Air Marshal, Zed Nesbit, and a Karathon, Drow Assassin, Shadow Wraith, Crypt Guardian, awesome, Shanna, the Zenithwing, Necrotech Reavers, Crimson Twins, Zundar, Emeron, Peloth, Sudima, Muradin, Amberhive Protectors, awesome, Scions of Icaria, the Kraken, Emperor Andask, Scoredire Infantry, the Ison Expedition, Guilty McCreech, Jean d'Arc, Corvin, the Rotbeak, Destro, and that's only the ones that are currently being released. There's probably going to be more in the future, guys.
Well, so it's also just like that species splicer gives her so many things.
Yeah.
I like the fact she can be undead to work with Sudema or Eisenek to work with Iron Lich. She really can just fill a hole in a lot of different things. And then, one of my other favorite funny things, she gives us our first ever official Lizardfolk hero. Because if you go back to the green scales, they say you choose a Lizardfolk hero or like a huge dragon hero or something like that. And historically, the only way you could get a lizard folk hero was VC because the Heroscape D&D stuff got canceled before they actually made a lizard folk hero. But now, even though she's a Durgeth, which is the canon version of a lizard folk,
Make her into
she
one.
still can become a lizard folk.
Is
So
it a
she's
great army
technically
build? But
no, it's not a good army build, but it
still,
could. You
fun.
could do it. Is the
Still
funny part.
fun, yeah.
Like that, or turning her into a dragon for scions. Not at all a good game plan, but funny.
You know, and I think she would be great too for what is it? Not pods? It's what's drafting? Yeah, draft to be a fun 100%. Drafting. Yeah, fun drafting.
There's also something neat about her. She's got so you'll see the mini. Like she's a Durgeth lizard folk with like brown scales, but she's got 2 Scoredire arms grafted onto her left side.
Mm-hmm.
She's got a Bleakwood like Utgar Kyrie wing, and then a I think it's Onstrom. I can't remember which one is Vidar or Einar's realm, but he's got also an Einar Kyrie type wing. Like she just has a lot of weird stuff grafted onto her kit, and then I think also Scoredire wise, there's a lot of fun synergy with the new Scoredire under Einar's command that she can work with. She can be immune to the acid sacs of the burster. She can bond with them. It's like running her with Thyraxis and a bunch of the squad is something I'm interested to see if it works because she can heal Thyraxis, which is something Thyraxis is missing from Contemporary because she doesn't have the Nagrubs that she was built around having. So there's a lot of interesting uses just slotting her into different builds, and I think just from the sheer versatility and viability, I think she's an A tier unit easily.
For sure, and not exactly a filler, but it's not that high of a price either. 75 points, it's pretty fair.
75 is a good investment for sure, but it is definitely not impossible to fit into builds.
Right.
And the question is, for that 75 points, can you get more than her value in how much you're healing? Exactly. So putting her with like a big dragon, really she wants heroes that have high defense, low life, or at least high defense and medium life. Thankfully, she can't heal Soulborgs because that'd be a nightmare. She could heal Q9. But, you know, like your Dragon King builds, if you're running, let's say, you know, Nilfheim with green scales, and then you have Dernipia just in the back line, you can use I'll Do It Myself every once in a while and just come heal Nilfheim as needed. So just very versatile unit.
That's so good. Just to where you can, you don't need to put order markers on her. Just
even without I'll Do It Myself, she'd be good. But they copied that ability from I think Serpentor in.
I think that makes it A tier. That
and it makes her even better. I think people have been sleeping on just how versatile she is. The only thing is she requires a build that has heroes that she can reach. Like
for sure,
they'll need to be within 5 spaces of start if she wants to get them with the I'll Do It Myself. Unless it's like she bonds with another squad and that hero. And then also like, you know, she won't work in just mass single life common spam. But she can heal other figures. It can be unique squads with multi-life too, so like your bears and your Necrotex and stuff. I think she's gonna be great with Viscerat for starters, and I think she'll only increase in value as things go.
Absolutely. Well, let's take a look at Dernipia. Really, it might be one of the best playable miniatures.
A lot to take in with her,
for sure.
Such a wild sculpt too, like really crazy looking.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let us move on.
Got 4 left.
My cats are fighting. Wait, hold on one moment. Pause a second. Pause, if we can pause.
Alright, while Ryan's gone, everyone say nice things about him so he can't know that you said them.
Can't pause, but I don't want my cats like starting roaring loud and starting to fight with each other. Okay. Apologize for that for those few seconds. Alright, let's move down the list. Okay, we still got 4 more to do. Alright.
Yep. These ones are all... No, that's a lie. They're not that straightforward. But some of them are.
Guilty McCreech. What's your name? Guilty. I'm guilty. I'm guilty, Your Honor.
This is a sheriff I can trust with my life. We haven't even tried you
yet. Why are you already admitting guilt? Guilty McCreech. Yeah. Look at that. The pistols
the sculpt turned out great.
Yeah.
The pistols are well done. Yeah. I love his little vest and his horrible mutton chops. And then, of course, the giant robot arm Doc Ock style on his back. But, like, take that off and you still got a really good cowboy mini.
For sure. All right, Guilty McCreech. Here we go. Good to see you, kid. Been desperate for an extra hand around here, says Sheriff McCreech. Looking ahead, spurs jiggling. The Vord gunslinger Blink Dawson follows by the orange light of the chemical lanterns, which trail ahead like fireflies. Blink notices the metal claw attached to Guilty's back, which sways and clicks with its own intelligence and the Valorak Corporation brand embossed upon it. Seems like yesterday we were chasing manticores off the herds in Kremlin, says Blink, wet nose sniffing. How'd they rope you into this shindig? Guilty stops and looks back, eyes narrowed. Blink catches a glimpse of the scar around Guilty's neck. A scar Guilty doesn't talk about. I know a thing or two about governing folks, he shrugs. Particularly, ran a whole town back home. When they put out for volunteers to run this operation, well, I was first in line, and you were my first choice for deputy. Flattered, I'm sure, Blink says, furry brow raised. What? Just that I know you, says Blink, crossing his arms, and that you'd only come down here for something awful shiny. Guilty continues forward. As they soon emerge from the passage, Blink squints momentarily, letting his eyes adjust as he takes in the spectacle ahead of him. Hundreds of Clockwork Combine employees dot the wall of a massive cavern, chain gruts carving into the stone while an Ankylosaurus hauls away the sledge full of boulders. At a base camp far below, the samurai superintendent Nishi Suta places and calls orders to groups coming and going. They are excavating a huge brass tower, windows and doorways half buried in stone, which I'm sure will be important later. Better in gold, says Guilty, gesturing the vast spectacle before them. Power like even the Valkyrie ain't ever seen. When he looks back to Blink with a familiar glint in his eye, and partner, down here, you and I are gonna rule like kings. All right. I used to
very, very not corrupt, very non-problematic sheriff.
I used to live in Mississippi, so I don't have the accent, but I can do the accent. So
gotta tap on into them old roots, you know.
A little bit. I tell you what, you gotta be doing that sometime. All right, so Guilty McCreech, and I'll say just one thing with the lore. It feels like a Western. It feels like you're reading a Western novel.
It's also a callback to his classic bio. Like when it mentioned that mysterious scar, in his classic lore, he was a corrupt sheriff who took advantage of his hometown and abused his power as sheriff until finally the townsfolk had enough and started to hang him, and he got summoned mid-hanging. So that
there you go.
Scar it mentions in the classic is like a rope burn scar around his neck, and that's continued as a reminder into this new era. But it shows he hasn't necessarily fully learned from his lesson about abusing power.
Why do you think he's guilty all the time? Okay, Einar, Guilty McCreech, human, unique hero, lawman, greedy, medium 4. Life of 3, move of 5, range of 7, attack of 2, defense of 3, 50 points. Double attack. Once per turn after attacking with Guilty McCreech, he may make one additional normal attack, which is great. Deputize. Now, this is cool. At the start of the game, you may place a silver badge marker on one unique hero in your army that is a sniper or follows Einar or Valorak. For this game, it gains the class of lawman, and that's just going to help lawman builds like crazy. Long arm of the law. Once per turn, before, during, or after moving normally, that's a lot of options, you may choose a treasure glyph within 3 clear sight spaces and place the glyph power side up on Guilty's army card or the army card of a friendly unique lawman hero within 3 clear sight spaces of Guilty. Do not roll for traps on treasure glyphs collected with long arm of the law. Now, for like a regular competitive build, I think the lawmen army build has just gone up in value a bit, because to get those glyphs right away, definitely a glyph grabber.
In formats that use treasure glyphs, like he is the strongest glyph grabber in the game now. Like he outpaces even Heirloom from D&D, who was the one who was good at that. And the main thing, obviously, is Deputize. Like he's the same as his classic version, just 20 points more with an extra defense and life.
Makes it worth it.
But that Deputize ability and the ability to grab treasures is what sets him apart from the original. And that Deputize, like as we already established with Nishi Sata in the beginning, a week ago, being able to bond with a samurai hero and then take Nishi's turn and then take a turn with a lawman it's pretty nice. And now guilty means that your lawman can be Zelrig, or it could be Imperator Kane, or my favorites are probably going to be like Fia. Fia Bonnie's a fun one, as is Tandros Creel from the D&D. Like a bunch of figures that have good value can now join into these lawman pods. And then Sniper, of course, means that Deadeye Dan and Frizz Galligan can finally Deadeye Dan can finally, and Frizz Galligan gets to become lawmen.
There you go.
Because before this, lawmen had no synergy despite being a thing. And
that's right.
Deadeye Dan was a sniper, not a lawman.
Lawman now. Wow.
So finally, Deadeye Dan gets to play with his fellow cowboys.
Wow. Crazy. Yep. So, yeah, Guilty McGreech, and I like it. It's great that we're bringing back original characters, but we're also elevating them from this, including Guilty. So, yeah. What more can you say?
Another fun one to use with Dernipia as well, because if you deputize Dernipia, now she can heal Nishi as he takes wounds in a Samurai Lawman build. So like there is that synergy there. I don't think it would have enough legs to fight against like true common spam, but it is not something to just sneeze at. Like there is some teeth there. There's some reliability, and in a build that needs to make sure Nishi never dies, having a healer that can be a lawman is huge.
Just to have the ability to get the glyph, like especially in a tournament setting.
Only in treasure glyphs, though. It doesn't include power glyphs.
Okay, not
is
power
the
glyphs,
big
okay.
shakeup.
Oh, okay.
So like tournaments, you'll probably only see it in formats that have treasure glyphs, or if he's playing with other figures that have treasure glyphs, which we're about to get into. But yeah, I mean, even if let's say you're playing against Destro and you manage to kill Destro, now he can steal the tech that Destro was equipping himself with. Yeah, as we see, I think more and more treasure glyph matters. That power is going to be more and more relevant. But in a standard tournament play, it's not as good as it may initially seem. But once we get to these next couple of heroes with treasure glyphs, then I think you'll start seeing some of the vision there.
Gotcha. All right, well, that's taken a look. So I stand corrected in that. But that's taken a look at Guilty McCreech. Still really fun character. And
solid use of 50 points for just double attack and enabling some really silly builds with Nishi.
Up in that lawman build, definitely, for sure. All right. Let's move on to the next one here. Moving right along. How much do we got left here? Okay,
just three left.
Three more. Let's try and get through these. Okay. Takanawa Kaiga. We'll comment on the sculpt in a second. Let's read the lore. Notes of an unknown historian from the archives of Rai Sanyo. It is the burden of the historian to sift fact from legend, to pluck out each polished grain of truth and set it carefully aside. Bit by bit, piece by piece, they form a picture of the past. Only then is it proper to publish one's findings. Concerning the blood-cursed blade, a few grains are all I can discern. Despite many years of research, it is said that the sword has had many bearers, each one chosen by the blade itself, but I can verify only a few. The story begins in the early years of Toyotomi Hideyoshi's reign, in a tiny village in the Amori prefecture, a little more than a half-dozen huts clinging to the side of the mountain like stubborn barnacles. The local blacksmith was betrayed by those he trusted most, and in a terrible rage he plucked a sword from the forge with his bare hands and quenched it in the blood of his betrayers. Of the smithy, nothing remains save a patch of soot-stained dirt and blackened debris. No one dares speak the smith's name, and no one will build anew on that charred earth. Years later, a katana with a blood-red blade surfaced in Kyoto, in the hands of a ronin called Demon Blade, whose cruelty and depravity shocked even his own men. The blade itself seemed to thirst for blood, and with it he carved a swath through the underworld and brought the city to its knees. Finally, the Imperial Regent dispatched an elite unit of samurai to the city. Led by Takanawa Kaiga, they smashed the syndicate and claimed the sword, though most of the samurai perished in the fight. Kaiga himself was the next to bear the blade, and by all accounts it drank well under his care. He wielded it throughout the Konoha Rebellion, apparently like a man possessed. He personally slew 24 men at the gates of Konoha Castle before coming under fire from a squad of rebel arquebusiers. When the heavy smoke cleared, Kaiga was gone. Though I have scored the records to the battle and interviewed many survivors, the trail ends there. Neither Takawanda Kaiga nor the blade ever appeared again. So this is just full on-Earth account, backstory of this character.
Of from a human archivist, probably in the late 1500s, early 1600s, because that Konoha Rebellion that's mentioned, that took place in 1591, and then that daimyo mentioned, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, he was born in 1537 and lived to 1598. So this is very much like a directly placed into the historical timeline. I believe Alex is the one who wrote this and went all in on the kind of the placing him in history, even though he's got a magical sword. But I love this figure. The sculpt is great. I love the historical tie-ins and the Demon Blade callback, like the random out of nowhere reference to the samurai who killed Odonashi's husband, which left her to swear revenge and become the world's now third best 10-point ninja.
Exactly. No, it's really, really good. And let's read the card. Okay, Takanawa Kaiga, Einar. Human, unique hero, samurai, tormented, large 6, life is 6, move of 8, and it's on a horse. Range of 1, attack of 3, defense of 4, 90 points. Chosen of the Blade, special. Kaiga starts each game with the Blood Curse Blade treasure glyph on this army card. And wait, okay, there's a Blood Curse Blade. Let's just read that real quick. Guaranteed wound, permanent treasure glyph. When this hero attacks an adjacent figure with a normal attack, add 1 skull to the roll. At the end of this hero's turn, if no figure took a wound during that turn, this hero takes the wound. So you gotta roll the defense. If you roll the defense, then the person this one you're playing against will get the wound. But one way or another, someone's getting a wound.
It puts a clock on the blade's wielder. It's like, you have to kill, and if you do not hurt someone, I'm going to hurt you myself. It's a great cursing, can't be dropped, which I love, and yeah, it's a fun. We were talking about SI4X earlier with that, doubling of all skulls in shadow attacks. I don't know how you would best do it, but like in a draft format at least, there's some interesting synergy there of having Kaiga drop his blade when he dies, and then now SI4X can make his melee attacks get a guaranteed 2 skulls.
Okay. The Blade Thirst. Once per turn, after attacking a figure, you may move Kaiga up to 4 spaces when you may make 1 normal attack. You can, if you use the Blade Thirst, Kaiga takes 1 wound at the end of this turn. Okay, so that is an automatic wound for that, though.
Yes, so after he attacks, let's say he doesn't do a damage, there's no reason not to use this power, because now you can at least try to get another attack in,
double strike.
And then he'll take a wound at the end of the turn, which will also satiate the blades. Like, you're going to take a wound either way, you might as well try to get an extra kill from it.
So technically you could be moving 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 12 movement.
Moving up to 12 spaces, yeah. But he does have to attack the figure, though. Like, it's,
for sure.
It's not after attacking, it's after attacking a figure. And those are different because after attacking is a timing window, and after attacking a figure is a required cost.
It could be one of your own figures, though, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just kill your highly expendable imp and keep going. Also, there is something interesting of, like, killing your own guys just to satiate the blade. Like, if you have, 10-point Osamu and he's already taking damage and he's just waiting to die at the end of the round, you could have Takanawa just stab him through to satiate the blade. And I just
Already
love how
have
that
enough
kid
blades in 'em.
plays. Yeah, just what's one more? But this figure, 90 points seems so good for those stats, but like this guy, the candle that burns twice as bright burns half as long, and I think he is the epitome of that mantra.
And also Counter-Strike. This is normal Counter-Strike if Kaiga successfully defends against a normal attack from an adjacent attacking figure that is not a samurai. The attacking figure takes 1 wound for each excess shield. So even trying to attack him is going to Counter-Strike, which is nice. And Counter-Strike, you don't have to take a...
He's probably going to do the most damage to himself. Then, like, no one... Obviously, like, he can die if you shoot him or if you get a good enough roll, but, like, he's already going to be draining his own life for that cursed sword. And I like... there's a clear reason why you would use this cursed sword. Like, it's a really good benefit, but I like that this gives you that kind of Faustian bargain. You don't even have a choice. Like, you have to, like, you're stuck with this thing with him. And then for anyone else who wants to pick it up, it's like, do you also take on this, burden of, unimaginable power, but also, like, great loss and suffering and pain? And I think it's just a fun way to translate kind of like that story to the gameplay.
For sure. And yeah, that's backstory. That's not exactly like Valhalla lore. This is just Earth history lore that's being applied to this, which is fine.
What I like about what he does too is like you don't even have to know the lore to get the vibe. Like this guy's got a crazy sword, and that sword lets him do crazy violence, but his personality is tormented and he's suffering wounds as he uses his thing. Like it's a countdown clock. The first turn you take with him, he probably takes a wound. Like you could bond with Nishi and have him run up, but if he can't get to an enemy in 8 movement on that first movement, he's just gonna take a wound.
Wow.
So
you gotta
view
attack
him more as a
right
5
away.
health hero. But
Right
what's neat is then if you run him with Nishi and Guilty and other lawmen, Nishi can bond with him because Nishi bonds with samurai heroes, and then if Nishi is close enough to an enemy, you can take a turn with a lawman. And if Takanawa dies, he drops the treasure glyph, and now Guilty can swoop in and snatch it up or pass it off to another lawman. So you continue on the cycle of the treasure glyph as long as you can play it right. And with Guilty's double attack, if you're in melee and you're getting those 2 attacks off, that can do a lot.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting type of would be an interesting type of scenario build because you would know you would have to know how to play it very well in order
yes,
to
that is definitely one that's going to require practice, but it's very easy out of the box. Like if you buy this Einar box in the battle box, you have most of an army right there because I think it's roughly 180 points or so for the combine team in the box, and then you add 90 here, and then 50 from Guilty, and then you add in Dernipia. Like you're fitting well within a lot of point totals for that. And all the powers interact with each other, which is just a fun combo there.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that's taking a look at Takanawa Kaiga. All right. Let's move on.
On to Volorak. We just have 2 left.
Right. And I forgot when we were reading Dernipia's bondings. That came from Heroscape. Maybe I mentioned it, but I'm going to mention it again. HeroscapeHelper.com. Definitely check out. It's a great resource, and it's just getting better and better.
I need to poke more at that. Everything I was just introduced to it recently by Hex Holo video, and I was like, oh my gosh, this looks great. So
it's really good.
Hats off to the designer. The UI looks great. Utility seems great. VC integration is good because you obviously can't have that in an official product. So Heroscape Helper is really cool. Go use it.
Absolutely. All right, the Ison Expedition. Look at these guys.
Love these guys so much.
Yeah.
This is
from AOA artwork.
I think we mentioned this. Yeah, I was gonna say we mentioned this with Elon Fufuo, but these are also concept art inspired figures from the original HasLab run in 2022.
The Ison Expedition. The last 3 members of the notorious Ison Expedition had survived countless hazards in their storied careers, from the Arctic wastelands of Noxterma to the smoke-shrouded trenches of the Syandont hegemony.
I think.
Hegemony, yeah. I was going to say it. Yeah. Now they perched on a ridge line in Anund, picking off fighters, elite Necroteth soldiers, with a steady rain of rifle fire. Suddenly, a lurking Geistfire snapped off a sickly green blast from its oversized hand cannon, nearly putting an end to the expedition's leader. "I say," muttered the Sir Barclay Haddish, examining the perfectly round hole in the beam punched through his battered top hat. That was a close shave." "That," snorted Ida Beasley, her long ears twitching as she sighted down the scope of her Smythe Nesbit carbine. "That was not but a tickle to keep you on your toes." She squeezed the trigger, and the offending Geistfire's head exploded in shards of bone and metal. "Remember when we were trapped in the ice caverns of Aput, with a pack of hungry Gnarflers hot on our heels?" "Of course he remembers," snapped Henry Barlow. "We had to detonate a hall of saline to collapse the cave, and he never stops complaining about all the profit we lost. Never mind that it cost me an arm." He flexed his robotic prosthesis to demonstrate. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Far below, a host of Necrotech Reavers swarmed the fallen Geistfire, jockeying to be the first to cannibalize its cannon. "Oh, quit your winging," said Sir Haddish. "You got a new one, didn't you? A better one, too, by my measure. Anyway, that wasn't a close shave. But you recall when we stumbled into a Blackburn Bombardier's bar after our side won at Regatta, and tried to start a cheer. I'm amazed we lived to tell the tale." The reviving of chain axes ricocheted off the walls as the ravine as a battalion of chain gruts descended the ridge to overrun Vidar's battle lines. "Well, lads," said Beasley, "looks like we live to fight another day. You owe me a drink." All right. Do my best with the accents.
love the vibes of these Vorids. Like, just three homies blasting, relaxing, reminiscing about good times.
The good old days.
You know, they're
character.
You know, your standard like trophy hunter, gentleman, like explorer.
I say,
like
good show.
Stereotypes. Yeah. They're not good people, but they're fun people. Like, I would hang out with these guys. They're probably one of my favorite squads in the game, honestly. But the lore, I think the team really hit it out of the park with the lore, and I like that each of the figures has a name too. So now whenever one of them dies, you can be like, "No, Ada," or "No, Barclay."
I appreciate the fact, because I mean, this is why I gave names and identities to the Airborne Elite so long ago, is because not many squads, had that. So it's kind of cool they gave.
We have these three. We have Quan the elf from the Knaves of the Silver Scimitar. She got a name in the bio of the Knucklevi. And then I think Henderson and whatever the other name was for some of the Airborne Elite mentioned in Kare Ga's bio. So, like, there's just not a whole lot of names for unique squads, which is kind of sad because they're unique squads. Like, they're not heroes, but they're practically heroes.
They're unique. But let's take a look at the card. The Ison Expedition, Vorid, Unique Squad, Scout, Precise, Medium 4. Life of 1, Move of 5, Range of 7, Attack of 1, Defense of 3, 75 points. Expeditionary Force. Before taking a turn with the Ison Expedition, you may first take a turn with a Vorid or Scientist hero you control. Add 1 to the hero's move value during that turn. Well equipped. Ison Expedition figures may choose to ignore any effects from terrain tiles they move onto or occupy other than molten lava. I was about to say, if molten lava was an exception, but it is okay. Never mind.
They are heat proof, but not lava proof. Like, they can stand on lava field, but not molten lava.
That's cool. Line up the shot 2. When an Ison Expedition figure attacks a non-adjacent figure, if it did not move this turn, add 2 to its attack value. So it's kind of like a little bit of a fourth mass type.
Yeah, it's like a modified weight than fire, but more balanced because it doesn't affect adjacent figures. So if you can get up to them, they're not getting that buff anymore.
It's not a bad squad. It's not a bad squad. It kind of fills out the Vorid, and then also with Scientist. As well.
And we'll get to the big ticket scientists next with Gimbal, but they work with Dr. Mindbender, who has a movement ability that would move each of them 3 spaces if he starts adjacent to them. It works with Dernipia in case you're running like a big scientist or Vorid plus Dernipia. And then my favorite little tech for them, Expeditionary Force. You take a turn with Air Marshal Zed Nesbitt, and now he's moving 6 instead of 5 because he gets
Yep.
the move buff from them.
Yep.
He can fly over them and skyhook them to move them up.
Mhm.
He attacks with 3 attack dice because that's his base, range 5, 3 attack or whatever. And then after his turn, you take a turn with the Eisen Expedition that he skyhooked, and they didn't move on their turn now, so now they get line up the shot, and you kind of just
There you go.
float this little pirate ship blimp around.
Probably what they were made for.
It may not be the strongest use of I think that's 215 points there for the 2 units together. But I think there's some fun tech with that, and I've seen people theorizing about builds where you run them with Zed and then a ton of Tanuki just to be a wall of 4 defense.
People want
And
to use Vorid, you know. So.
I will definitely try it. This is the closest thing we've had to like a playable Vorid champions and Vorid squads army, because the Tanuki are a solid squad, but they don't do a whole lot for the Vorid heroes. And then the Vorid heroes are great with chain gruts, but this is the first time we have a Vorid squad that works well with the Vorid heroes. And it's kind of a fun way to supplement like one squad of chain gruts. Like let's say you're trying to run the 5 squads of chain gruts plus Tuck and Decker. You could replace one squad of chain gruts with the expedition. They're the same point total. Now, I mean, do you want to do that? Do you want to give up a squad of chain gruts? Probably not, but you have the option to, and I like how they fit into a lot of Olarak builds.
Nice, yeah. So, and I know we're running very quickly out of time. Actually, we're kind of out of time, so I can't dive in too much. But very interesting. I haven't even read the lore or the card for these, so I find it very interesting for your Vorid type builds.
The bonus thing to note also is at range 7, they outrange Cobra Troopers at range 6.
There you go.
Now, they only have that 1 attack, but if they can get the line up the shot, they can be a bit of a nuisance to the Cobra Troopers who are projected to be one of the meta problems.
And if they're on height, that also ups their defense to 4.
Yep, and their attack base to 2, 4 if they get line up the shot. So there's, I think, some interesting use for them. I don't know if we'll see them be like top of the meta, but I know I'm going to try my darndest to make them work.
I'm sure some people will, and just because and the sculpts are cool.
Such fun sculpts.
Yeah.
And you got like the robotic arm with the Silene flowing through it too. Like that's kind of some fun visual storytelling.
Precursor
we know all about Silene, but the Eisen Expedition definitely seems very similar to the Eisen X that come out later.
Yep. Absolutely. So that's taking a look at the Eisen Expedition and the characters involved. All right. Unmas.
Last and certainly not least.
It's probably the biggest one out of the whole bunch.
The Volarak Dragon.
Yet the smallest name, I think. Gimbal.
Isamu is shorter.
Isamu is shorter, yeah. Okay.
By 1 letter.
But definitely this is big, but still a small character, actually, because you see in the center there, that's actually Gimbal right there.
Don't call her small. No, you'll see why not.
Yeah, you don't want to. Yeah, exactly. All right, the bio. A flash of sparks reflects on Gimbal's goggles as the dragonling reaches for a wrench from the nearby workbench, her eyes never leaving the open panel before her. The tools in the base camp are paltry compared to her workshop in New Hawkland, but they will have to do. There was hardly enough room for her supplies alongside the medical tools that Dernipia had insisted on. Still, Gimbal had worked with less. Icaria hardly offered the array of technology available on Valhalla, but that had never stopped the curious dragon from tinkering. Limitations only fueled her creativity. On a world where scythes and strength determine who rules and who is subject, being born the runt of a clutch was often a death sentence. This was not to be Gimbal's fate. As a hatchling, she quickly learned to survive using her wits and knack for engineering. So renowned was her gift for invention that she was invited to the courts of draconic royalty to craft contraptions never before seen on Icaria. This only made the other scions resent her more. Had it not been for the timely intervention of Volarak, the young dragon would have been the victim of an assassination by those jealous worms. Gimbal would not soon forget this gift, nor the opportunity presented in working for Volarak Enterprises, with the technological promise of dozens of worlds. Hey, Small Fry, how's it going in there? Wait, I'm sorry. Hey, Small Fry, how's it going in there? Sheriff McCreech's drawl comes from the entrance of the makeshift workshop. We're gonna need those claws to break through this door soon. Ain't enough chain axes in the world to make it budge. Gimbal grits her teeth in a quiet snarl, pretending not to hear the lawmen over the sound of machinery. Finally, the last few bolts secured, she carefully puts her tools aside and clambers into the cockpit of her greatest creation yet. With a titanic rumbling, the Dragon Mech rises above the camp, wings spread and a jet of orange flame streaming from the breath apparatus, and the breath is an acronym, for added effect. I told you, human. The Dragonling pivots an enormous metal claw to point at the visibly impressed McCreech. Don't call me small. Okay. Fun. All right.
Yeah, I love the runty Scion creating a horrifying weapon of, mass destruction here.
Now we don't. I want to read through the card real quick. I mean, obviously the lore is pretty good. Tells her personality, where she's from. But let me just read through the card, and then we can sum it up real quick for Gimbal. And I'm sorry, guys. I know it's getting late, and we need to wrap this up really quick. Gimbal, dragon. So that's a dragon hero. So you could still do like
works with green scales and scions.
There you go. Dragon, unique hero, scientist, inventive. Won't the scions love that? A huge 12. Life of 3, move of 6, range of 1, attack of 5, defense of 4, 150 points. Draconic engineering. Gimbal starts each game with a breath, wings, and claws, all 3 acronyms, treasure glyphs on its army card. These treasure glyphs cannot be placed on this army card except by this power. Gimbal cannot drop these glyphs except when destroyed or with the ablative equipment special power. Ablative equipment, so this is the power. When Gimbal would take 1 or more wounds, you may place a breath, wings, or claws, again acronyms, treasure glyph, on this army card onto an empty space within 1 clear sight spaces of Gimbal. If you do, ignore all wounds. So it basically can drop pieces of itself to ignore the wounds.
The Oathbound Phalanx, as we've seen in AoA already. She can sacrifice something on her card to ignore all wounds, or she can take a wound to her card, but she's only got 3 life.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you're just taking 1 damage, you probably put it on her, but if you're facing 3 or more damage, you definitely sacrifice a glyph for it.
Okay, I didn't even read that bottom one, so yeah, that definitely makes her like a really, really strong unit.
Yeah, she's
50 points.
4 defense and like kind of 6 life, but it's hard to quantify that because each individual of those 3 treasure glyphs could sacrifice to block up to however the most wounds can be rolled in the game. Theoretically infinite damage can be blocked by each glyph once.
Right. And we don't have time to read through all the cards, but let's just say they're permanent treasure glyphs. One is like a range special attack. Another is a special power when it comes to attacking adjacent figures.
A good way
claws.
To summarize it.
Yeah, go ahead.
So basically, breath is a line attack, 6 line with 4 attack dice. So just slightly shorter, I think, than Mimring's fire line, but almost the same and the same amount of dice. Claws is whenever she attacks someone adjacent, you can choose another figure adjacent to her, and if she hits the first one, she also deals damage to the second one. So good way to kind of cull through squads.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, wings just lets her fly. Now, what's interesting is all these glyphs, they have 2 specific clauses. The first one is that after a figure uses any of these treasures, if they're not a scientist, you destroy them.
Mm-hmm.
So like she gets infinite use of these, but like if she dies, and let's say Guilty McCreech uses his arm to pick up one of them, he can use like that fire line or that melee ability or flying, but after he uses it once, it's going to go away. But if you have someone like Dernipia or Dr. Mindbender, you can kind of Voltron and rebuild the dragon around them, which is fun.
Crazy.
And then the other wild part about these glyph cards, specifically they mention when this glyph is removed from Gimbal's army card, remove that body part from the mini.
Mm-hmm.
So we've seen photos of this, but like as she takes damage, if you take the breath off, you remove the head from the mini. If you take the claws off, you remove the hands, and if you take the wings off, you remove the wings from the body. So by the end of it, you have this
RPG boss battle.
You have this awkward like ball with 2 legs and a spiked tail, and then 2 arms without hands, just kind of running around after she's been stripped of her more powerful arsenal, which is just so much fun. Like that's just some like toy fun that I think is nice to see in Heroscape with its kind of war game but also toy kind of hybrid existence.
This actually might be a good one to put with Scions, to be perfectly honest.
150 points. You can do her and 2 squads of Scions for 300 points. And then you can throw in Dernipia and the Eisen Expedition to get up to 450. You still have 50 points left for like Guilty or something.
For the glyphs,
yeah, I think there's a lot of fun to be had with her. If you run her with the Eisen Expedition, they make her a 6-move 4-defense flyer that can hit a range 6 line for 4 attack. Like, she's gonna be a menace.
Yeah, in the box. Yeah. That's really fun. And I will say one thing: it's really cool that we can have the word mech in Heroscape.
Yeah, I love her genre mixing. Because she's like a baby dragon from a fantasy world, but then she's got like this steampunk mech that is also kind of like a Power Rangers or like what is it?
Like Zord Voltron.
Like, you've got like your Tokusatsu like robot. I know I want to get like obviously Gundam. I want to get her pre-painted, but you could also what I want to do is I want to get an unpainted of her and paint it like Mecha Godzilla. Like silver with all the red lights and stuff. Like there's just so much fun to be had with this sculpt because it's a cool big robot dragon, but it also happens to be piloted by a tiny small biological dragon. Gimbal is I'm just so excited for this mini to hit the tables to get her flying around, and it's gonna be so nice to have another dragon that's not Zenithrax in contemporary Heroscape.
For sure, absolutely. Bring on the dragons, even the mech ones. All right, so that's taking a look.
And if this one falls apart, have a crazy orthodontist named Dr. Mindbender just kind of assemble Exodia upon himself.
Exodia. So many references. But yeah, let's take a look at Gimbal from this wave. And that's the last one we're looking at. So
it's the last one. We're free.
I will. Let's see. I gotta wait. No. Need to. How do I close this? We're going to do that, and I think we do that. Great. All right.
Nice.
Well, then we are going to wrap up for tonight then. Yes, it's late as we figured it'd be. 2.5 hours. Phew.
Yep.
And for those of you who are listening on Spotify, I mean, I will edit down some of the like beginnings and endings to some of this, but it's still probably going to be a good 3-hour podcast special. So hope you all got a good amount of listening fun with that, and I do appreciate Daniel for coming on again. This is the second time coming on the stream, and I appreciate you so much, Daniel. Anything else?
A lot of fun. Thanks for having me join.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else you like to say, and anything you want to plug?
Yeah, I mean, so obviously we know there's 4 alliances, but we really only got 2 alliances fleshed out, and then we got to see a bit of the Umbral Covenant with the battle box. I'm definitely looking forward to any future reveals. My heart belongs to the Verdant Pact. Ular has always been my favorite, and Aquila is a good similar general. But then also the Umbral Covenant. We've got more secrets and shady characters and such. So I'm very excited to see all that. I'm hoping we get to see. I'm assuming if we're following the trend of prior years, usually there's an October set that gets revealed in like June or so before Gen Con. So I'm looking forward to what all gets reviewed in the future, but this is plenty enough for now. I've got time. When July rolls around, I'm gonna slowly turn into a horrible part of Volarak's infernal machine of industry, because I will be playing so many Chain Grats. I'll be playing the Expedition and Gimbal and Blink Dawson, so many fun figures. So yeah, I'm excited, and just I can't wait to see what people do with these different units in both all time and contemporary.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, again, Daniel, he writes some of the scenario lore, and it's great to have him on. And of course, I'm Ryan, aka Tales of Valhalla. And well, guys, again, shout out to Heroscape, Heroscape Helper again. Definitely check that website out. And there's also Warpig. Also, I think a link is still in below for that for the upcoming. Valkyrie trial in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
So definitely still check that out if you want to go there. I personally probably going to do a Valkyrie trial at EscapeCon, because I believe they're going to have one there.
Nice.
So yeah, and any of that Renegade connected stuff I'll probably do while I'm there, because it's very rare for me to go to, and unfortunately at this time in my life it's hard for me to get anywhere. So that'll probably be the only time I'll be able to do it. It'll be a lot of fun. But with that, before ending, guys, this Sunday, hopefully, some things need to happen. So it's probably gonna be this Sunday or next Wednesday. But we're gonna have a fun end of the month on this channel because I've been given. I'm not gonna give away the whole thing yet, but I've just been given some animated responsibilities. Let's just put it that way, from a specific source. Actually, I think that's the wrong play of words because that's another.
Oh yeah, that's the Hexagons game that isn't Renegade based.
Yeah, exactly. Not them. I'll say that much. So yeah, wrong.
You have a supplier for the goods
from a specific supplier. To where, and I'll try to stream and video record to take all of you along the way because I've been given permission to do that. So
nice.
Hopefully this Sunday we're going to be doing an unboxing. So hopefully I'll have the mailbag ready then. If not, next Wednesday. And just stay tuned, guys. We're going to have some fun. So with that, thank you all for watching. You have a purpose in your life. Find it. Pursue it and live it, and we'll see all of you next time. Bye now. And Justin,
see y'all.
Good luck on your Valkyrie trial this Saturday then. All the best of luck to you and to all of you, anybody else listening, especially you who's just lurking and just listening. Appreciate you as well. Oh, and again, Renegade affiliate, link in the description below. Check it out if you want to support more of what this channel does. Later now. Bye. Good night.